His family's electronics shop, once their pride, now sits shuttered and abandoned. Wait, shuttered and abandoned is a bit repetitive. His family's electronics. At his father's memorial, he apologizes for failing their legacy. The empty warehouse is a brutal reminder he's jobless. He bowed and begged to clear his father's debt, but it wasn't enough. Drifting alone in his room, he stares at his phone, realizing he hasn't spoken to his friends in ages. Since graduation, he's been a workaholic, ghosting every social invite. Staring at the ceiling, total despair hits him. Alone in the silence, he faces the truth he's lost everything. Bored and surfing web novels, a sudden banner ad catches his eye. One simple, world-altering question: want to transfer to another world. He dismisses the shady site, but bored, he fills out the survey anyway. It's a massive aptitude test, styled like a medieval fantasy RPG. 100 questions deep and only halfway, but he grinds on. Finally, he taps send. Kami Shirahitodo appears, revealing he's actually Ryoichi Ishikawa. He flashes a sleek business card. Ryoichi mistakes him for a salesman, but Shirahito's actually here for the Isekai Transfer Life Survey. The man wants to confirm Ryoichi's transfer immediately, offering a demo to prove it's no trick. Instantly, the world dissolves into a shimmering, ethereal forest. Shirahito reveals Staria, Ryoichi's new world, and it's no dream. He points to a nearby slime, identifying it as a monster hostile to humans. He casually erases the beast, a grim warning of the danger ahead. He reveals magic is real in Staria and offers to teach Ryoichi a simple spell. Ryoichi finally masters his first spell, Magic Hole. Next day, they hash out the details. Ryoichi asks the price of refusal, fearing he'll never return to Earth. Shirahito's answer is chilling refuse, and he'll erase your memory, just the mundane work of a god. Shirahito tempts him with a catalog of cheat skills. Ryoichi starts with appraisal, language, an item box, and 10 times XP, then gets to pick 3 extra abilities. He realizes these powers grant instant mastery, bypassing a lifetime of training. Shirahito's getting a god gift too, a unique power born from Supreme God, Bon Raiwaweki's imagination. This potential is insane, way beyond a basic cheat. He has 3 days to pick his new life, powers, and divine gifts before the man vanishes. The timing is perfect. Jobless and alone, Ryoichi has nothing left in Japan. He spends his final days revisiting the places that defined him, his old school and the local shrine. He remembers the simple joy of eating with his dad after a long day. He visits a family friend for advice and learns he's at a major turning point. The 40-year-old founder pushes him to take the next step fearlessly. A meal and some advice ignite Ryoichi's resolve. He's ready to face life's endless hurdles. He walks his hometown one last time, memorizing every street. High above the city, he takes one final look. He returns to an empty house, no longer a home. Dawn of his final day, he's made his choice. He signs the transfer, certain it's fate. He asks for a mission, but Shirahito promises his life is finally his own. Shirahito sees Ryoichi lacks combat or crafting skills, relying entirely on his own custom powers. Ryoichi's certain he's built a unique, lethal combo. A voice promises his new powers make him nearly unkillable. Waking in Staria, he instantly uses God-class appraisal on a pack of lesser wolves. He scans his own stats and panics. He's a dead man. He frantically blasts magic to hold back the charging beasts. One breaks through, fangs sinking into his shoulder. He thinks his new life is over before it even started. Refusing to quit, he blasts magic with fresh fury. Mid-fight, he unlocks dual casting and instantly turns the tide against his attackers. He unlocks his second God-class skill, instant regeneration, that heals any wound short of death. The leader outruns his magic, so he drops it with a brutal kick. Slaying monsters already boosted his stats, all thanks to that massive 10 times XP gain. Battle over, he loots the wolves, guided by his divine map and gifts. The map pinpoints his location and the path to Ease Village. A guard stops him at the village gate, demanding ID. He's broke, but entry costs 3 silver coins. The guard grills Ryoichi over his perfect coins, so he blames a merchant to hide his 10 million yen converted from Earth. Fee paid, he enters the village. Villagers gawk as he stalks the streets, drenched in blood. He finds the Spring Vale Inn to rest and clean up. Marie greets him worriedly, but he assures her he's fine. He can write the local script for the register, so Marie signs him in herself. Her parents watch from afar, noting his unique situation. Marie offers to wash his clothes, but he just stashes them in his item box. The family is stunned. They recognize this as a rare gift from the gods. Marie's stunned even. Rank adventurers rarely have a skill like this. His second god gift. A 10-foot shipping container straight from Earth. He didn't just link the container, he bound the entire warehouse to his item box. He scored a massive stash of frozen-in-time supplies from his old world, plus a multiplication box that duplicates any item. He needs an ID, so he heads straight for the Carpenter's Guild. Inside, he watches Hart at work. The exam and entry fee cost 1 gold coin. Only 40 pass without a master, but he doesn't care, he's taking the test right now. Hulking Supervisor Gio scoffs at Ryoichi's skinny build. First test, split a log with an axe. Ryoichi tries lifting the tool, but it's impossibly heavy. A normal swing is out. He uses the axe's massive weight instead. Gravity drives the blade down, splitting the log clean. Test 2. Gio orders him to process the split log using any tools he wants. Ryoichi has until sundown and standard tools want to cut it. He asks to use his own gear and Gio clears it. Shocking everyone, he summons his item box. He whips out a power drill. He remembers his father and the tool he gave him long ago. The drill's roar stuns the crowd, mesmerized by the incredible tool. The guildmaster is stunned, he's never seen an exam use magic tools before. He finishes in record time. The guildmaster passes him. He orders Corona to issue his guild card as the crowd gawks at the new magic item user. Master reveals test 2 measures your ability to imbue tools with magic. That first axe was a gift from Josuke, the wood god, requiring massive mana to even wield. Ryoichi's stunned, he just heard God's gift again. Guildmaster Kakis reveals the divine logs reacted to Ryoichi and hands over his official guild card. By the guildmaster's order, Ryoichi Ishikawa is now a Carpenter guild member. Gio slams a hand on his shoulder, declaring untrained rookies a bad look, and decides to train Ryoichi himself. The guild hits the tavern for a welcome bash. Gio challenges Ryoichi to arm wrestle, testing his god-tier strength. Gio's a beast, but Ryoichi hangs tough, shocking the crowd with hidden power. Surrounded by new allies, Ryoichi realizes it's been ages since he felt this respected. He doubts his choice was leaving his old life a mistake. Under the moonlight, he finds a new purpose, connect with others, and finally start living. Shirahido's warning hits Staria is a world of constant death. From beyond, a goddess watches, eager to see if this newcomer survives to reshape the world. In the shadows, a girl begs for her sister. She begs a miner to join, promising to do the heavy lifting, but gets rejected. Alone and hopeless, she collapses by a minecart, her desperate cries echoing into the night. Deep in the woods, Ryoichi hones his skills, toppling trees with a single axe swing. His insane progress catches Gio's eye. The veteran lumberjack praises his speed, then decides to show the kid something truly epic. Gio smashes a massive tree in one swing, stunning Ryoichi. The massive trunk groans and topples. Just before impact, the earth rises to cushion the fall. Gio reveals its earth magic he mastered through experience. Ryoichi asks to learn, but Gio's no teacher. He tells the boy to find a magic book at the local shop. Following the tip, Ryoichi hits a cluttered bookstore, met by a strange cat-like owner. He asks for a magic book, but the shop only has elite academy texts and a rare, ominous dark magic tome. Ryoichi's stunned to find such power in a backwater village, but the owner just grins. He's got connections. Playing it safe, he grabs a beginner's wind magic guide. He tries his first spell and a massive wind blast erupts raw power he can't control yet. The book holds wind, fire, and earth symbols, and he's mastering every one. Between shifts, he grinds his magic, summoning fire as the crew watches. His goal is simple: adapt and survive. He knows magic is a muscle that only grows with use. It pays off. He blurs through the forest, shredding trees in his wake. His 10 times growth rate supercharges everything, from physical power to magic and logging. He tests his new power, obliterating forest beasts with massive magic blasts. Gio watches in awe, stunned by Ryoichi's freakish growth rate. Impressed, Gio issues a village rite of passage. Reach the giant soldier's shrine deep in the forest and return. Ryoichi accepts, reaching the shrine entrance flanked by 2 massive stone statues. He creeps down the stone path. He reaches the shrine's core, a chamber lined with silent, armored figures. A massive monolith stands at the center, etched with glowing, mysterious runes. He suspects it's a magic armor control hub, but figures the ancient tech is dead and picked clean. Suddenly, a strange noise echoes from beneath the floor. He pries open a stone panel to find a modern circuit board surging with power. Using his past life knowledge, he knows he can fix it. Mask on, he reconnects the severed wires. Circuit-complete symbols flare and the massive stone door grinds open. A dark spiral staircase opens and he's drawn inside. He steps into the dark as a heavy grind echoes from below. He sparks a fireball, revealing a giant's massive armored legs standing right in his path. Light reveals the massive golem, eyes glowing as it towers over him, greatsword drawn. The statue lunges, swinging its massive blade. Ryoichi leaps back as the sword slams down, shattering the stone floor. Cornered, he strikes back with a rapid-fire magic barrage. He unleashes a massive explosion, swallowing the golem whole. The flames fade, but the Autonon is completely unscathed. The golem kicks back, sending Ryoichi flying. He slams the wall, reeling from the beast's raw power. He swings in desperation, but his axe shatters against the golem's leg. As he's crushed, a voice notes he's already died twice. Ryoichi instantly multiplies, triggering his divine clone jutsu to survive this monster's overwhelming power. Every clone drains his power. Physical and magic attacks fail. He's hit a dead end. Appraising the golem confirms his fears. Insane defense and magic immunity make victory impossible. Cornered, he grabs the forbidden book. Last resort. It's a lethal risk, but he's out of options. Clones hold the line as he starts the chant. Dark aura erupts, skulls swirling as he chants forbidden words. He blasts a dark torrent straight at the golem. Dark energy forms a void, slamming the ancient guardian. Abyssal magic shatters the golem's armor. The statue falls, but victory carries a brutal price. Stunned by his own power, Ryoichi collapses in agony. He collapses again, coughing blood as the dark magic recoil hits. As he blacks out, a hologram of a girl appears. System call detected initialization begins. Barely conscious, Ryoichi reels at the sight of high-tech gear in this fantasy world. No network. The AI resets to basic household mode. Initialization complete. Biometrics registered. His circuit repair just woke her up. Relief vanishes as more golems swarm him. He braces for the end. He flinches, but the strike never lands. The golems kneel. Registered as master, the AI kills the alert. Danger's gone, but the dark magic curse flares, and the AI offers help. She scans his condition and tells him to trigger his God-class adaptation. Infusing magic into his body nullifies curses and status effects. He triggers the skill, killing the pain. He thanks the AI, stunned by her insane analysis. The AI reveals the shrine's secret. It's a hangar for 6 ancient magic vehicles built for construction and transport. Ryoichi pities her years of loneliness, but the AI claims she has no memories and can feel emotions. He insists her ignorance won't change her solitude and vows to return. Walking away, he wonders if his words hit home. The AI cracks a faint smile as she says goodbye. A massive hexagonal door slides open, revealing the path. He steps through and freezes, stunned by the sight. He stands in a high-tech hangar, dwarfed by a towering magic mech. This massive ancient machine glows, waiting for the command to wake up. The guild gapes at the massive mech. Stunned, it was dug from the giant soldier's shrine, and even more shocked it still works. Ryoichi found the manuals, but the machine is too rusted to run. The crew can read the ancient script, but Ryoichi deciphers it easily, even though he can write their language. Guildmaster Gio lets Ryoichi keep the find. Can he fix it? Recalling his days tinkering with his dad, Ryoichi's confident he can restore it. He gets to work, applying his unique knowledge to the ancient tech. Marie and Nasir barge in, staring in shock at the bizarre spider machine. Nasir says Marie panicked when Ryoichi vanished all day, so they came looking. Gio jokes he's just obsessed with his new project. The real goal: recruiting guild craftsmen for a trip to the dwarven village of Duos. This trip only happens every 4 months, so Nasir's sticking with the elite Carpenters Guild for safety. Flattery wins the guild over, and since Gio already has a wood delivery for the Dua branch, the trip is officially on. 4 days later, the group treks through a dense forest. While discussing safety, a pack of horned monsters blocks their path. Geo rallies the squad weapons out, archers and mages support from the back. Marie freezes, clutching a pan as a monster lunges through the chaos. Ryoichi strikes, kills the beast, and pulls her back to the group. It's not over yet. Endless monsters are still pouring from the woods. Overwhelmed, Ryoichi raises his hand and unleashes a massive lightning surge. Electricity chains the monsters, dropping them instantly. The Group S stunned Ryoichi's a powerful mage, too. His magic spiked after crushing the golem and dumping his power into that ancient machine. Refusing to be outdone, Geo slams the earth, flexing his mastery to crush the remaining threats. By the campfire, the group praises Ryoichi. He's great in a fight, but his item box is the real MVP. He pulls out fresh meat and veggies, but the bread's rock hard and the salted meat is way too bland. Inspiration hits. He grabs Quasar dressing from his inventory, slices meat, toasts croutons, and tosses it all into a massive salad. The dish is a total hit, leaving Marie and Nacer stunned by the unique flavor. Everyone wants seconds, even veggie hater Geo. They beg Raiwaki to sell them the dressing. Ryoichi gladly agrees, explaining his multiplication box provides a limitless supply. Demand is through the roof and Nasir smells profit. Finally, the walled village of duos appears. Ryoichi and Geo spot master tier dwarven roads, linking the village directly to the capital. The party splits. Marie offers her uncle's inn, while Geo and Ryoichi deliver to the Carpenter's Guild. Geo hands the timber estimate to the guild manager. The manager wants more timber. A new magic discovery just sent smithing and stoneworking demand through the roof. Delivery done. Geo suggests they go sightseeing. While the guild plans, Ryoichi scouts the village solo. He hits the guild to sell his monster loot. A suited man eyes the monster pile, dreading the long harvest ahead. Shocked by the high-level phantom core, he mistakes Ryoichi for a pro and tries to recruit him. Ryoichi snags his ID starting at rank E. He spots a commotion outside, a girl on her knees, begging two men for work. A local reveals her dad died in a landslide, leaving her with a massive debt due tomorrow. Failed to pay and she's sold into slavery. Magic ore is her only hope, but no one will risk taking a kid into the mines and facing the punishment. Talk about irony. The landslide that killed her dad revealed the new ore vein, but only Masonry Guild members can enter. She failed the guild entrance test, too weak to make the cut. Watching her beg, Ryoichi remembers his own past alone and struggling after his father's death. Steeling his resolve, he marches straight to the Masonry Guild. He's heading to the source of the chaos and the cure, the mind itself. Sunset hits and she finally breaks, sobbing an apology to her dead father for failing. A voice breaks her despair. She looks up. It's Ryoichi. He hands her a hard-earned card and offers to hit the mines together. She recognizes the Regilled card saved by this world. Ryoichi's determined to save her. A guard blocks mine 6, demanding the party's Masonry Guild card. An old man recognizes the mayor and Ishikawa, worried they're the final group to enter. He offers condolences for her father, bringing Mara to tears. She knows without Ishikawa, she'd be dead. He warns the mine is a death trap, admitting he never wanted her following her father's footsteps to escape debt. Tension peaks inside. Greed fuels a brutal turf war as they clash for control. Disputes explode into violence as greed turns allies into bitter rivals. Ishikawa and Mir watch the chaos. Their guide confirms it's the new normal. Magic ore found deep in the mine turned it into a bloodthirsty war zone where cooperation is dead. Mir fears fighting for scraps, but Ishikawa's all-purpose map proves the major veins are still hidden. His map updates live, tracking the mine's excavation mares stunned as the data shifts right before her eyes. She recalls her late dad's magic research or a sudden insight hits her. Using her dad's ore intel and Ishikawa's map, she pinpoints a massive hidden vein. Ishikawa's floored by her genius while the mayor panics, claiming the trip is impossible. The target S in a new direction, requiring a fresh tunnel they have zero tools to dig. Ishikawa claims his item box has everything, but pulling out a basic pickaxe fails to reassure the mayor. He tells her to stand back, he's got a plan. He pulls heavy machinery from his item box, including a mini excavator. The ground quakes as a massive machine materializes from nowhere. They face a massive walker, an ancient relic from the past. Ishikawa and the mayor stare up at the massive machine. He dug this magic-armored vehicle out of ancient ruins. He fixed it up, but admits it might not work, shocking the mayor. He's taking the controls and tells her to stick close. Both locked in, Ishikawa fires the engine and preps to dig. The vehicle lunges, slamming a shocked mayor right into him. Powerful arms shred the rock wall, carving a path with brutal efficiency. The mayor screams in disbelief at the machine's raw power. Ishikawa's impressed this machine digs and reinforces the tunnel all at once. Adrenaline fading, Mayor slumps back, completely drained by the shock. Ishikawa tells her to rest, acknowledging her daily struggle. She says she's fine, but there's still an hour out, plenty of time to recover. He hands her sweets, the sudden scent catching her off guard. He explains they were donuts. She takes a bite and loves it, but stops, claiming she isn't hungry. She hesitates, but hunger isn't the problem. Guilt hits her sister. Moa is home suffering, and she has no right to enjoy this. She remembers her dad slaving over research to fund Mo's treatment and keep them fed. Ishikawa watches, realizing she won't allow herself a single moment of joy. The vehicle grinds to a dead stop. Gauges hit 0. They're out of fuel and trapped deep underground. Mary blames herself instantly, certain it's her fault for dragging him in. Spiraling in despair, she apologizes for being a curse. Ishikawa asks why she blames herself for everything. He remembers losing his dad and business, realizing that cursing fate changed nothing. Recalling the hand that saved him, he refuses to let go, slamming the controls and flooding them with his energy. The machine roars to life. The mayor watches in shock as the vehicle moves again. Ishikawa reveals the machine's secret magic. He's pumping his own energy into it, forcing it to move. They reach the target, but a massive bedrock wall blocks the way. Ishikawa channels his last mana into 1 point for a final, all-out strike. The stone cracks. The wall shatters, revealing a massive cavern packed with glowing magic ore. Goal in sight, Ishikawa grips his pickaxe as the mayor joins the fight. He hands her a hometown helmet, playing the protective dad as they dive into the grueling mining. Mayor confronts the moneylender who once rejected her. He's stunned when she drops a mountain of gold, paying her 250 coin debt a day early. He asks how, so she reveals Ishikawa helped her mine the magic ore and gave her the entire fortune. The moneylender remembers the girl's dark fate if the debt wasn't paid. Humbled, he admits he's never met anyone so kind and thanks her for a new path. As they leave, the man prays for his lord's blessing. Outside, the mayor thanks Ishikawa, but he deflects, crediting her knowledge for finding the ore vein. He offers her cash again, but she tearfully refuses. Their freedom is enough. She owes him everything. Determined to thank him, she leads him home, apologizing for her modest place. Ishikawa finds the house spotless but completely empty. Mary smiles sadly, revealing she sold everything, even family heirlooms, just to survive. She calls her sister Moa Ishikawa finally cleared their debts. From the corner, a frail voice asks if it's true. Ishikawa looks at the sick girl, and the grim reality of their situation finally hits him. Moa and her sister are finally safe. The younger girl breaks down, sobbing her thanks to their savior. That night, Raiwichi visits Mo's bedside and offers recovery magic to heal her. He casts heal water, wrapping the child in shimmering liquid. The magic fades, leaving Moa just as frail. Raiwichi's stunned even his strongest antidote magic is being nullified. This isn't a normal sickness. Noble elixirs only made her worse, so he triggers God-class appraisal to find the truth. It's grim. Moa's advanced cursed seal is draining her life, spreading disease and inviting disaster. Raiwichi collapses, spitting up dark sludge. He recognizes it instantly, the same advanced curse from the giant soldier's shrine. He scours his grimoire for a cure but finds only attacks. He's down to one final gamble. Touching Moa, he unleashes a dark torrent casting drain. The power-absorbing spell rips the curse right out of the kid. A multi-eyed shadow beast tears out of Moa and lunges for its next host. Vile energy swallows Raiwichi in a maelstrom of pure malice. Her sister watches in horror as Ryoichi collapses, the curse's weight crushing his consciousness. He's finally feeling the same agony. Moa's endured for years. He wields an unknown god-class adaptation. Light flares as he absorbs and shatters the curse. Ryoichi stands weary but safe. He ignores the mayor's concern, focusing instead on the sleeping Moa. Re-stunned, the sinister curse mark is completely gone. Let's go with... To their shock, The sinister curse mark is completely gone. Wait, the prompt says. Unimpeded, Ryoichi casts heal water again. The magic finally works, flooding Moa with healing energy. She wakes up dazed, then ecstatic. The pain, numbness, and fever gone. She leaps from bed, feeling weightless and fully restored. Her sister rushes over, tearfully confirming Momoa is fully cured. The sisters hug in relief, thanking Ryoichi for the miracle. Armed, he watches them with a smile, content they're happy. Crisis over, Ryoichi whips up meatball udon, his dad's old recipe for when he was sick. He serves steaming bowls to the hungry girls. They inhale the food, starving like never before and loving every bite. Mo apologizes for eating fast, but Ryoichi shrugs it off. His magic provides infinite ingredients. He serves up donuts for dessert. Overwhelmed by his kindness, Mare breaks down, asking why he'd do so much for people with nothing to give. Ryoichi gets serious. Protecting kids is standard in his world, but her drive to save her sister makes him jealous. He quietly admits his family is gone. Hearing this, young Moa vows to be his family. She clings tight, begging to be his little sister. Moved by her innocence, Ryoichi pats her head and accepts her as his new little sister. Night falls. He heads to the inn, promising to check back tomorrow morning. Walking away under the stars, Mare calls out. She asks his plans, learning he's a traveler who'll eventually leave the village forever. Desperate, she shamelessly begs to join his journey. Ryoichi warns her it's dangerous, but she insists on repaying his kindness. Moa joins the plea, clinging to Ryoichi and refusing to let him go now that he's finally found. Seeing their tearful resolve, Ryoichi reflects on his lonely past and finds a new purpose for his second life, protecting them. Hopeful, the sisters ask him one last time. He smiles, hoisting them high. Starting today, they're family. Next morning, Ryoichi returns to his crew, announcing he's gained a family. Once the shock wore off, friends learn of her plight and the legal red tape to become her guardian. Ryoichi hits the magistrate to finalize the adoption and clear the Valar family's massive tax debt. He drops a mountain of gold, securing instant permission. He tells the girls the cash is theirs, earned from their dad's magic ore discovery. Now a family, they hit the town and get spotted by Marie and Nasir. Briefly explained. The women instantly fall for the adorable sisters. Seeing their rags, they force a shopping spree on their new Big Brother's tab. Moa and Mare get fresh outfits that fit their personalities perfectly. The gang hits a bookstore next at Mo's request. Ryoichi hunts for advanced magic scrolls. He buys Moa a book as she rides his shoulders. Watching him, his friends realize he's stepped up from big brother to father figure. Next day, the Velour family teams up to fix their leaky home. Work's done. They head inside as Ryoichi reads Moa's new book. A classic fantasy and otherworldly hero rescues the princess. Ryoichi freezes, seeing the Centurious Tree Kingdom. It's real, proving this world is still a total mystery. That night, once the girls fall asleep beside him, alone under the moon, he stares at his father's photo, weighing his new reality. He has a family again, 2 daughters to protect, and it's a strange, welcome feeling. His new family sleeps soundly, their future just beginning. Ryoichi hits the guild hall, head bowed in apology. Gio grills Ryoichi for missing the party, but the girls jump in, explaining they fell asleep and he stayed to protect them. Gio's clueless until a disciple explains Ryoichi adopted the orphans as sisters, a detail Gio forgot while wasted last night. Gio's mood flips instantly. He beams, welcoming the girls as his nieces. As they gear up to leave, Ryoichi reveals his true plan. He's not just escorting the kids, he's quitting the guild to start his own journey. Gio's team is floored. Ryoichi doubles down, staying to explore this world. Gio's warmth vanishes into cold disappointment. He snaps, shouting there's nothing left to learn, his voice stinging with betrayal. Ryoichi tries to explain, but his master turns away, coldly refusing to chase anyone who walks out. Before leaving, Moa begs Ryoichi to make peace with his master. A guildmate comforts him, saying Master Gio is just lonely. His friends crowd in, devastated he's leaving Springvale forever. At the farewell party, Gio's disciple approaches Ryoichi with a gift from his absent master. A legendary axe forged by the mythic dwarf Deuterus Gio's rush order for his departing student. Next morning, the party assembles at the gates, ready for the journey. Spirits high, they head for E's village. Hyped for adventure, the girls hop in a cart. Ryoichi pulls them forward, making sure a recovering Moa saves her strength. Smiles hide the tension. One girl reconciled with her friends, but she's still worried about Raiwaki and Gio's fallout. Ryoichi missed his only shot to thank his master for the axe. A sharp sound rings out. Ryoichi signals, silence, senses sharp. Suddenly, monsters swarm from the wild, surrounding them completely. Vicious magical beasts close in. Ryoichi readies his lightning, but Gio steps in with crackling knuckles. Gio's thunderous stomp shatters the ground beneath the monster. The cliff collapses, plunging the beasts into the chasm and crushing them instantly. Everyone's stunned by his raw power. A disciple warns this is the master when he's serious and pissed. Threat neutralized, they push forward. Dusk falls as they hit the campsite to rest. Setting up camp, the tension between master and student is still thick. Mayor spots Ryoichi's worried look and alerts her sister. She reveals why she's uneasy. The ground is covered in strange holes and massive monster tracks. Ryoichi rushes to warn Yo about the dangerous discovery. Gio stays sullen, shutting him down and refusing to talk. Unresolved conflict still hangs heavy between them. Night falls and the camp is completely oblivious to the danger. Sleepless, Mare scans the universal map she borrowed from Ryoichi. She spots a nightmare. The map's mountains are shifting as a path is carved in real time. Something massive is coming. She rouses the camp. Frantic pan-banging jolts a grumpy Gio awake. Gio's gone. The figure in his tent was just a bedroll. Alone on night watch, Ryoichi fumes that the others ignored his footprint warnings. His fears come true as a massive griffin drops from the sky. A frantic Moa finds Gio alone under the stars. She sprints back, screaming that a massive monster is charging the camp. Gio reassures her, promising to handle the threat. Moa timidly asks if he hates Ryoichi. Gio denies it, admitting he feels like a failure for teaching his genius student nothing yet. Talks over two griffins dive in. Gio leaps in, tells Moa to hide, and readies his axe. Ryoichi arrives, ready to back him up. Gio shoves him back, vowing to solo the flyers as he crushes one with a massive hit. The wounded griffin bolts toward the camp. Gio grimly says they have to end it here. Chilling monster screams pierce the darkness. Gio realizes the horror and orders Ryoichi to take Moa and the villagers and run. Ryoichi refuses, he's staying to fight. Someone must buy time. Gio warns a deadlier threat is coming, and they can't outrun it. A bloody beast steps from the shadows. A massive, mangled bear bursts from the trees, oozing raw power. Ryoichi's appraisal reveals the beast a level 68. Shout Bear King. Gio's stunned. It's the legendary mountain guardian, way out of its territory. Gio accepts his fate, reveals a secret guild fund, and orders Ryoichi to focus solely on protecting his new family. Arms wide, Gio makes his final stand, unleashing earth-shattering power to hold the line, "Go," he commands. Ryoichi hesitates, torn between his master's orders and his urge to help. Duty-bound, he grabs Moa and bolts, honoring Gio's final wish. He rushes back to the terrified villagers, demanding they hear his plan. Gio's disciples despair, sure their master is finished. Ryoichi apologizes for ignoring Mara and asks for a massive favor. He reveals a massive armored truck with room for everyone, putting her genius behind the wheel. Studying the ancient manual, she steals her resolve. The machine roars, blasting the villagers away at breakneck speed. Mayor pilots while the crew pumps magic into the spare tank to keep them moving. They notice Ryoichi is missing. Mayor promises to follow soon, using his other vehicles to catch up. Deep in the forest, a mangled Geoles slumps against a claw-torn tree. The Shout Bear King towers over him, ready for the final blow. Mid-strike, a second armored vehicle slams the beast, intercepting the blow. Ryoichi's back. His master's order to protect family includes Gio, and he'll defend him with everything he's got. Night falls as Ryoichi's magic armor clashes with the ferocious Shout Bear King. The mech stands ready, massive arms primed for battle. The power gap is massive. Ryoichi is only level 24, while the Shout Bear King towers at level 68. This beast is a nightmare. Its stats dwarf everything Ryoichi's ever faced. Even with magic armor, the monster's power is surging. Ryoichi realizes a wounded beast is always more dangerous. Claws smash the gauntlet, sending shockwaves through the cockpit. Metal screams mid-clash. Ryoichi's stunned by the insane power as his magic armor arm begins to shatter. A sickening crunch and the armor-S limb snaps. The bear rips the arm off, but Gio screams his disciple's name and catches the severed limb. The beast locks back onto Ryoichi, eyes blazing with fury. Ryoichi counters, slashing deep into the bear's arm. He's unscathed, saved by the durability of his master's axe. Gio's stunned by the quality. The blade is flawless, without a single nick. Direct combat is useless, so Ryoichi pivots. They'll swarm the beast with numbers to buy time for an escape. He triggers God-tier clones, multiplying instantly. Clones swarm the Shout Bear King, using synchronized strikes to distract and overwhelm. Gio's stunned Ryoichi explains the clones are just temporary decoys to cover their escape. He sprints to his master, begging him to heal so they can escape. Gio hates being saved by his student while Ryoichi eyes the exposed magic armor. Their window slams shut as the Shout Bear King blasts fire from its maw, blindsiding them with a deadly new move. Ryoichi tackles his master, shielding him from the blast. The inferno incinerates their magic armor, destroying their only defense. Trapped with no escape, Ryoichi fuses his clones with the dark magic from the golem battle. He chants, drawing power from the abyss. The spell's too slow. Ryoichi and the Baratorses know they're dead before it finishes. Darkness flashes. A shadow intercepts the beast, but it's not enough. Bear claws slash, shredding Ryoichi's defense. Blood sprays as his arm is ripped clean off. He gapes at the mangled stump, desperately forcing his regeneration to trigger. The pain's too much, he's blacking out. He hits the grass, bleeding out. Master Gio screams his disciple's name in pure horror. The bear towers over Ryoichi, jaws open for the kill. Gio roars and charges the beast, desperate to distract it. It's futile. The bear swats him aside, knocking him out cold. The blow sends him flying. Dying, Ryoichi remembers Shirahime's warning. Death in this world is a very real danger. The beast drops low, fangs closing in. It's ready to feast. Jaws clamp shut, but Ryoichi jams his last hand into the bear's throat with his final strength. One last desperate bet. A magic circle flares from his palm. Lightning blasts from his hand, frying the beast from the inside out. The beast convulses as Ryoichi's god-tier region kicks in, knitting his severed arm back together. If the bear bit his head instead of his shoulder, he'd be dead instantly. Advanced lightning strikes, leaving the Shout Bear King stunned and wide open. Master's down and Ryoichi's shock snaps into pure rage. He lunges forward, axe raised, crackling with lightning. With a final roar, he charges the paralyzed monster. He slams the axe down with full force, ending the creature's life. One final dark command rings out. Master Gio stirs awake, vision blurred. He spots the massive Shout Bear King, still and torn apart. He stares at Ryoichi over the corpse, frozen in disbelief. The young warrior stands silent over the carnage, victorious. Gio stumbles, pointing at Ryoichi's arm in shock. He just saw it get ripped off. Ryoichi points to his severed arm on the ground. His new one already grew back. You are stunned clone's regeneration. He demands to know what his apprentice really is. Ashamed of the unsettling power he just revealed, Ryoichi apologizes. He fears his own power, calling it a strange source of isolation. Gio isn't scared, he just bursts into a booming laugh. He grabs Ryoichi's new arm. Details don't matter. It's time to arm wrestle again. Locking eyes, he claims Ryoichi's identity, his savior, lifesaver, and proud disciple. Their transport rumbles in, shattering the silence. The guild returns to back them up. After saving the villagers, he rushed back to help his master. Ryoichi's sisters rush over, sobbing with relief he's alive. Villagers stare in shock. No one believed the legendary Shout Bear King could actually be defeated. They spot Ryoichi's severed arm, the brutal cost of his victory. Ryoichi stares at his healed arm, totally forgetting he just regenerated. The Woodwork Guildmaster hoists Ryoichi's hand, declaring a hero born in Aya's village while secretly burying the severed arm with earth magic to hide the evidence. He tells the exhausted warriors to rest. News of the feat spreads fast, hitting the village tavern. Patrons laugh off the rumor as impossible. The Shout Bear only appears once a decade and shreds mid-level adventurers with ease. A fox-like swordswoman in foreign gear overhears the story and demands the bartender spill the details. Dawn breaks over the quiet town, rays stretching across rooftops as a new day begins. Sunlight floods the room as birds chirp. Ryoichi wakes up bandaged and dazed, wondering where he is as a crowd of villagers murmurs outside his window. A girl tries to block them, but the villagers push past. They're desperate to thank Ryoichi for slaying the shout bear, injuries or not. He spots the Forest Spring Pavilion from his window. Merchant Nasselson works the crowd, selling store items as exclusive passes to get inside. He turns from the window and freezes me, and Moa are already in his bed. He questions why they are there, but they just point to the empty beds like it's nothing. They greet him with a high-energy good morning. She shyly admits she fell asleep watching him all night. He thanks her, and they head out. He steps out to instant whispers. The village is shocked. This plain kid killed a shout bear. Word travels fast. A fox woman waits at the stairs, staring him down in total silence. Her eyes lock on him, sharp and focused. Ryoichi feels her heavy stare. Is it curiosity or a deadly glare? The kids cheer in awe at the beast folk, while the woman greets them calmly. She's surprisingly pleasant, shattering Ryoichi's first impression. A villager is relieved he's moving and thanks him for the rescue on Marissa's behalf. The innkeeper's swamped with guests but still stops to thank them. The table is packed with eggs, meat, and veggies, a massive thank you from the grateful villagers. Wanting to help, he asks to use the kitchen, and the hesitant staff let him. He whips up his father's old recipe with our help, stunning the crowd with his rare high-end spices. A massive, fluffy omelet stuffed with meat and onions stuns the crowd. The dish's killer aroma fills the air, luring in the beast folk woman watching from afar. She apologizes, her nose overwhelmed by a mysterious new scent, so Ryoichi offers to share his meal. The kids cheer, waving her over to their table. Stunned by their kindness, she joins their meal. One bite leaves her speechless, face frozen in pure shock. She's never tasted anything like it. This mystery sauce is deep, rich, and savory. He IDs the soy sauce, and she knows it's the perfect match for her homeland's food. Meet adventurer Koko Youth Gabardius. She loves the food, and Ryoichi realizes she's a fan of Japanese flavors. Ryoichi reveals he's also an adventurer, flashing an E-rank -ID that catches her off guard. She asks about his past. He says he was an electrician, basically a craftsman. Koko admits the rumors brought her here, knowing no rookie or craftsman could ever slay a shout bear. He's surprisingly gentle and calming, but clearly no fighter. When pressed on how he beat the beast, he admits he cheated. Suddenly, a massive, scarred man named Master Gio interrupts, backing Ryoichi's claim. Gio drafts Ryoichi for an emergency, ignoring protests that both men are too injured to move. Before leaving, Ryoichi spots Koko's stance, identifies her as a Kokonatsu swordsman, and asks about her school. Impressed, Koko names her school Kurinryu while Gio teases Ryoaki for flirting. Ryoichi brushes off the accusation, noting Koko's kindness and how fast she bonded with the kids. Her homeland breeds legendary warriors, so to survive that man's world alone, she has to be insanely strong. Gio leads Ryoaki to the guild. Inside, they meet Guildmaster Caucason and Aya's village chief, Coleus. The chief warns that the shout bear, Lord of the Mountains, is way too close a dark sign that something is dead wrong in the highlands. Fearing history is repeating, Gio whispers sea crossing a dark omen of disaster. The chief reveals that 20 years ago, a sea monster invaded and stole the native beast's territory. Turns out the invader is actually a pair of dragons. Ryoichi's stunned. The chief reveals that after total destruction, the island's ruler, Duke Claverel, was forced to step in. Twin dragons unleash a calamity, threatening to destroy Melisaru. The Duke mobilizes his army and elite adventurers to hunt the beasts. Both dragons fall, but the victory costs them everything. Ryoichi absorbs the tragedy as Gio drops a bombshell. The dragons were a mated pair. Rumors of hatched eggshells suggest a survivor. Now fully grown, that dragon is back for revenge against humanity. With disaster looming, the chief sends Ryoichi to deliver an urgent letter to Baron Errol. Ryoichi's stunned by the sudden burden. The chief says he can heal first, but warns the multi-day trek through lethal lands is pure peril. Gio demands speed. His gut warns of an immediate threat, and they're keeping it quiet to prevent a mass panic. Ryoichi questions why they'd trust an outsider with the village's fate. The chief smiles, calling Ryoichi a hero instead of a wanderer, naming him the village's most reliable man. Ryoichi locks in and accepts the mission, fueled by their trust. She's shocked he's leaving while still injured and asks why, but he just thanks her for the treatment. Ignoring her protests, he unwinds Hisso's bandages, calmly stating he's already fully healed. Bare-chested and smelling of ointment, he calls it a day, set to leave tomorrow morning. Mai and Moa watch curiously as he builds with wood and metal. He reveals his project a wood-fired rocket stove to heat his bath. A hot bath is a first for the girls, letting them scrub away the grime and melt their fatigue. Guild firewood fuels the fire, and the bath is soon ready at the perfect temperature. The girls want in, but they are missing swimsuits, so he gives them his t-shirts. They re-hyped to finally wear Big Brother Ryoichi's shirts. In oversized shirts, they're hyped for the bath. The trio soaks in the warm water, finally relaxing. A shocked gasp shatters the peace. A beast warrior storms in, outraged by the mixed bath. The girls reveal they are 12 and back home 13 is marriage age. His explanation only panics her more, and she screams while he desperately tries to clear the misunderstanding. Chaos over, he pulls Moa and me aside. Tomorrow, he's off to Errol on a vital mission for the village. Everyone's reeling. He just got back. Why is he leaving so soon? Refusing to be left behind after the Shout Bear incident, they swear they won to forgive him if he goes solo. Next day, they're off. He speeds alongside the girl's magic armor. He's stronger after leveling up, but the Shout Bear King is still a threat. The girls prep by switching the armor to full defense. He senses someone tailing them. Their pursuer is Koko, the village beast warrior, and she's impressed he actually spotted her. She sticks the landing with flawless grace. Tension hangs heavy. Koko apologizes, admitting she was lured by rumors of his magic armor and insane strength. She asks if he's afraid, knowing beast women swordsmen are usually shunned. He brushes her off, insisting strength is no reason to shun someone. Amused, she calls him a fascinating gentleman, unlike any adventurer she's ever met. Curiosity piqued, Koko tags along. She and Ryoichi blast across the plains side by side at a blistering pace. Her speed is insane. They push each other, a silent battle to keep the pace. Inside the magic armor, Gorichin's stunned, unable to handle the machine's max speed. The runners halt at a waterfall, gasping for air after the intense run. He admits he overdid it, but Koko smiles. It felt like being a kid again. Peace ends fast as a massive club-wielding beast bursts from the trees, making the magic armor scream. Unfazed, Koko draws her blade. Jade unleashes current-style chaotic spring rain. One fluid strike and she cuts the beast down. The girls cheer her skills as he hails her a top-tier adventurer. He claims his combat is average, relying on insane healing and durability. He barely survived the Shout Bear King. He wonders if his Regan matches a lizard beastman's regrowing limbs and organs. Koko eyes him sharply, musing that only a fatal blow can stop him and demanding a spar. He nervously begs for mercy. Watching from afar, the girls notice the two are bonding despite the dangerous talk. Night falls, they set camp. Next morning, he's making breakfast as the girls wake. Koko hurls a rock while bathing, smashing his face. The girls aren't worried he'll heal fast. They pack leftovers and push for Errol, aiming to arrive by sunset. They press on by carriage. They discuss returning to Errol, recalling the dragon they once fought. Koko spots Melisol's twin dragons, stunned the beast left offspring behind. A disaster she'd only heard of in stories back home. She reveals her home Ichigo Island, part of the Kokonatsu archipelago. She calls it a beautiful beastman nation, famous for its scenery and sweet fruit. Still rumbling. He scans the map, noting his travel list just keeps growing. Koko asks if he's from the island. He says he's from a distant home he can never return to. No regrets. Leaving his world is how he met them all. He's ready to finish the mission and start a new journey. Dragons weren't real back home, but a dark silhouette just soared overhead. The carriage rolls on, blind to the looming threat. The winged beast dives. A shriek rips through the sky and the group looks up, terrified. A massive dragon dives from the clouds. He slams into their path with a thunderous crash. Appraisal reveals the nightmare a level 98 great dragon with stats on a whole other level. The beast gapes, raw power surging inside. Its mouth glows red. He yells for the others to get behind him. A breath attack is coming. He instantly triggers his god-tier clones. The clones sync up, raising a layered ice shield to block the blast. Dragonfire incinerates the carriage, scorching the earth. Death. The fire dies, leaving the carriage singed but safe. They survived, but the blast nearly incinerated the shield and clones. He stares at his scorched arm. Koko panics, but he tells her he's fine. The dragon circles. They can run, and they want to survive another hit. They're outmatched, outpowered, and the dragon owns the sky. Koko asks to appraise the dragon's stats. He confirms, checks her stats, and realizes even she's no match for this foe. Koko's unfazed. This dragon's just a juvenile, half the size of an adult. High stats don't make it a real warrior. Checking her status again, he spots a hidden trait hyper-focus, skyrocketing her attack power. The dragon looms above, a predator ready to strike again. Koko stands firm on the carriage. "Buy me 5 seconds," she commands. "I'm unleashing my special move." Buying 5 seconds, Koko's voice pierces the chaos from the carriage roof. Ryoichi braces as a massive scaled claw slams down. He slams his pickaxe into the Telon, the impact burying his boots deep. Inside the carriage, the girls scream his name in terror. Repelled, the dragon soars back, eyes locked on its target. Ryoichi shouts, fearing for the warrior still exposed on the roof. Her stats reveal a nightmare 0 defense. 1 hit, and she's dead. Sensing weakness, the dragon tucks its wings and dives straight for Koko. Ryoichi triggers god-tier clones, swarming the beast's back in a flash. Their desperate assault is useless. Neither steel nor magic can pierce the dragon's scales. Cornered, Ryoichi preps the Forbidden Abyss Dark, a suicide move that paralyzes him and risks instant death. No hesitation. He bets his life on the spell fail, and everyone dies. Dark magic erupts, blasting the beast and shattering the ground. Ryoichi flies back, spitting blood, but he's successfully distracted the dragon. Seeing his sacrifice, Koko steels her resolve. She was right to trust him. Make no mistake, he's a brave warrior. Her eyes ignite with a fierce glow. She charges her ultimate, the Korenryu Secret Lotus Blossom Flash. The blade blurs, slicing deep into the dragon's neck for first blood. Roaring in rage, the dragon swats Ryoichi off its back, sending him crashing into the woods. Shrieking, the beast flees, leaving a battered Koko victorious atop the carriage. Danger's over, and the passengers cry out in relief. Koko drops to one knee, admitting they only drove it off. It's likely the first time that beast has ever bled. The injury broke its spirit, but she warns the young dragon will return. Stay ready. She bolts into the woods, searching for her fallen comrade. She finds him face down, shrouded in a dark aura and looking wrecked. "Can't you heal?" She panics. He explains. Dark magic saved him from the impact, but now he's totally paralyzed. Koko's relieved he's alive, but Ryoichi warns the spell's mental drain is pure agony. The survivors swarm them, thanking their heroes for the rescue. Ryoichi and Koko recover as the twins rush over, tearfully hugging him. He realizes his power's true purpose, saving others from this fate. With new resolve, he pushes forward to save Errol. Koko watches him, realizing it's the first time anyone's ever thanked her for her sword skills. The carriage finally hits the agricultural city's massive gates. The driver warns the guards about the dragon, demanding they alert the baronet immediately. They reach the lord's mansion, and its massive scale stuns the twins. Inside, Steward Kiroth greets them and checks the chief's letter. The steward reports the dragon attack, leaving the baron stunned. The baron's skeptical and demands proof for their wild claim. Ryoichi's got the evidence in his item box. He reveals a massive dark scale, making the baron and his steward gasp. Kiroth inspects the artifact. The hardness, the shine, the dried blood, he knows it instantly. It's a genuine twin dragon scale from 20 years ago. The baron remembers Kiroth led the search, finding only empty dragon eggshells. Sensing the threat, the baron admits his army isn't enough. He immediately petitions Duke Horan for a subjugation force to wipe them out. The steward thanks them for the intel, telling them to rest in Errol while he alerts the territory. Mission complete. Ryoichi's satisfied, but Koko's still on edge. The twins fear for their villages, the army one to mobilize for days. Ryoichi reassures them dragons nest to heal, buying the group a few days of safety. Seeking peace, they hit the market and Moa spots an apple. Ryoichi finds an inn and teaches them how to make a treat from his world-candied apples. It's a massive success, and the twins are hyped. Sun's still up, so Ryoichi pushes to explore the city more. Moa won to leave her new snack behind, demanding they pack it to go. They roam Errol's bustling, wealthy streets. They reach a massive, breathtaking temple. Koko explains these divine blessings fuel the land. Their number dictates the power of every town and nation. Gods grant these temples, but only if 3 divine priests live there. Ryoichi ponders the priests, then spots a small, cloaked figure nearby. The kid collapses. Ryoichi rushes over, asking if they were okay. He reaches out and hooded eyes gleam. They lunge, devouring Mo's candy apple in a flash. Moa bursts into tears as her treat is snatched away. Ryoichi offers donuts instead to cheer her up. This only hooks the hooded stranger's attention even more. They snatch the box and devour the contents. "What are you doing?" Ryoichi snaps, furious they'd make a kid cry. The figure pauses. "I am not a child," a clear voice rings out. She's a golden-haired elf named Malo Furubachi Komoros, a 24-year-old priest and a full adult by human standards. Ryoichi snaps age is no excuse for stealing a kid's food. Check constraints. Original 43 words. Target 26, 34 words. My draft, 26 words. Watching the elf, he notes that despite her claims, she's still just a kid. He restrains her, saying bad kids need discipline. Her choice the guards for theft, or the office as a lost child. She claims she's a chosen priestess, but he doesn't care. Holy status isn't a license to steal. Moa sobs over her candied apple. The elf finally understands, calling it a sweet red gem. Robbed and starving for days, she'd lost all hope until a red light appeared, a divine beacon she hailed as a gift from the gods. Rain explodes from the clear sky, soaking her alone. She screams, begging her goddess for forgiveness. Her crew watches in shock, wondering if this is divine punishment. Soaked and humbled, the elf collapses and apologizes. Moa pats her head, tells her to stop, and introduces herself. Shaking hands, Malo eyes Moa, sensing a unique potential within the child. Mahalo suggests visiting Munsama's temple, the god of farming and water, to score a blessing. Inside, a massive line of worshippers waits for the priest. It's his turn, but after taking the blessing, his stats don to budge. The priest blesses the trio and a blinding light swallows them. Warmth surges through them, signaling God Mun's divine blessing. He's stunned every single one of them can use magic now. The twins lock eyes, sensing their new power. Moa's thrilled. After years of studying magic books, she finally cast her first spell. He wonders why he's left out, but Malo reveals he's already blessed by Yasuke-sama, the woodworking god, the very reason she's drawn to him. A spirit appears behind him as Mahalo senses his massive blessing. It clicks. This massive blessing is why he mastered every magic type from day one. They leave, but he spots Milo tailing them. She vows to repay them, joining their journey to Aya's village to work off her debt. Wait, let's make it more active. She joins They're hitting the Moors Mountains, a danger zone in total chaos after a dragon appeared near its lair. Milo's hyped for the dragon. She offers her healing, and though he's baffled, he accepts the extra support. He watches in shock as Milo inhales her meal and Mo's portion without stopping. Moa shows Mahalo her study book and asks for magic lessons. Mayalo freezes. This isn't a kid's book. It's a rare first edition of Dokad's adventure. She reveals it's a rare relic from the Centrius Tree Kingdom, and the kids crowd around, hooked on her story. That night, he watches the 3 girls bond, stunned by how fast they've grown close. Later that night, a knock hits his bedroom door. He opens the door to find Malo in the hall. He laughs off her late visit and tries to kick her out. She turns serious, touches his face, and says she senses a mystery within him. Trusting her sharp intuition, she's desperate to uncover his past and the life he's lived. It's late. She retreats, promising to finish their talk later. Alone, her words haunt him. He's hiding a massive secret. He's a transmigrator. If the truth leaks, every bond he's built will shatter. Next morning, time is running out. He deploys his magic armor machine to rush back to Aya's village and warn the chief about the dragon. The machine beats any horse but only seats 2, forcing him to find a way to move the whole squad. He pulls a modded machine from his item box, shocking his team as they pile in. His wolfkin takes the rear, itching to test her new tech on any monsters they face. They push far until the terrain turns deadly. Steep mountain paths force them to ditch the machine and continue on foot. Mo spots smoke at a nearby pond and thinks it's a bath. It's a natural hot spring, perfect for healing their travel fatigue. A thin wall divides them, but their cheerful voices still echo through. Fresh from the springs, the girls are fully recharged. They hit the water to prep for the final stretch. Nearing Aya's village, he realizes the hot spring could be a massive draw for his second home. They crest the hill to a nightmare. The village is burning, thick black smoke choking the sky. Shock and dread hit him as he watches his home burn, unable to process the catastrophe. The peaceful village is now a smoking ruin. Survivors scream, digging through the wreckage for their families. Ryoichi arrives to total carnage. Shattered ruins prove a dragon struck, but the town is a ghost town. He underestimated the threat, and now his mistake is crushing him. Blood stains the ruins, but there are no bodies. The villagers might have escaped before the slaughter. As Ryoichi stares, Mahalo casts a tracking spell on the blood, pointing the trail straight northwest. No mistake, it's pointing straight to the colossal soldier's ancient shrine. At the shrine entrance, guards Sikas and Traz emerge, relieved to see Ryoichi and his crew alive. They recount the horror. A dragon ambushed their village, but they got lucky, hitting an old chest wound to drive it back. The details. A total blur. Most escaped, but many were caught in the attack and severely injured. The shrine is now a makeshift hospital reeking of agony. A girl's scream rips through the murmurs of the wounded. Ryoichi finds Fass buried in bandages on a cot. Mari is relieved to see him, but Ryoichi's voice trembles as he asks about his friend. Near death, Fass reveals he tanked the dragon's full blast to save the others. Horrified, Ryoichi summons a healing water sphere, his voice cracking as he blames himself. Fass stops him. These aren't normal burns, they're dragonfire wounds, and basic magic is useless against a curse this strong. A villager tells Ryoichi to save his magic, pointing to a room full of survivors who still need help. Ryoichi refuses to quit roaring. He unleashes a flood of healing, shouting he'll save Fass no matter how many spells it takes. Despite his efforts, the magic fails. Mayalo steps in, calmly reminding him that magic is the power to grant wishes. Backing her words, she surges with power, prepping a far greater spell. Divine light floods the shrine as she chants an ancient prayer, healing the wounded and erasing their pain. Light floods him, the searing pain vanishing into a soothing warmth. He rips off the bandages. The charred skin is gone completely healed and scar-free. Marie weeps with joy as the villagers marvel at the miracle, stunned by Ryoichi's insane power. Around the shrine, the dying rise wounds gone, bodies fully restored. Relief hits the crowd, but Mayalo, the miracle worker, suddenly collapses from exhaustion. Slumped on the floor, she whispers she's hungry. She explains that powerful magic drains her energy, sparking a sugar craving. Grateful she saved his friend, Ryoichi promises her anything she wants. Priestess recovers, snacking on a candy apple. The light heals Guildmaster Gio's broken leg and chronic pain instantly. He thanks Ryoichi for delivering the vital letter. Even the chief joins the praise. Ryoichi blames his speed for the village's destruction, but the chief stops him to reveal the truth. The letter's prompt delivery let the Baron send instant aid, saving every villager with 0 casualties. Ryoichi crushed his mission, and now the chief introduces the Baron's envoy. Masikis, Baron Giller's retainer, admits Ishikawa's group was already winning. He says he just helped, giving them full credit for the minimal damage. Koko knows the name, and Masekis greets her warmly. She asks if he's the legendary A-ranker, Masek the Solid. He smiles at the title, but confirms he's retired. Legends tell of a steel-bodied warrior who soloed a chimera with a spear that pierces any monster. Ryoichi can't square the legend with this man's gentle aura. Crisis over. The group plans their next move. The Baron's army is days away. They just have to hold out. The Guildmaster warns the human-hating dragon will strike again before backup arrives. Ryoichi realizes the shrine is too small for the villagers. They need a better shelter. Right on cue, the wall slides back, revealing a massive sealed door. Inside a hidden chamber, Ryoichi spots a triangular emblem, the mark of the Magical Machinery Company, ancient creators of ruin artifacts. Masikius reveals these worthless artifacts are actually complex locks modern mages can crack. They step into a massive darkness. Ryoichi spots a light switch. Lights flicker on, revealing a massive underground hangar with room for everyone. Masekius is stunned. Ryoichi fixed the ancient power supply, a lost fusion of science and magic. A hologram appears, calling Ryoichi master and claiming she's waited a century for his return. Ryoichi asks to shelter the villagers, and the manager confirms he has full control as the master. His crew gapes at the advanced machine. Moa asks for the AI's name, but it hasn't been set yet. Moa names her Miction, and the AI accepts instantly. Stunned by the massive facility, the guildmaster worries if exposing Raiwaki's ownership is safe. Mikan cuts in, taking full charge of security. She warns harm the master or misuse the facility without permission, and the whole place locks down. Her face turns cold as she orders the shrine golems to wipe out every threat. Ryoichi rejects ownership, only wanting safety for the villagers. He and the guildmaster start prepping food and beds. The plan stalls their device costs a fortune they don't have. They deploy golems as the first line of defense to guard the shrine's exterior. Golems provide security, but Koko warns a dragon will stretch them thin just protecting the civilians. With a fight looming, she challenges the legendary Masekis to spar. Ryoichi accepts, eager to sharpen his axe skills. Masekus laughs, calling himself a retired old man. He summons a massive, pulsing mech spear. The engraving proves he's masochist. The steadfast training starts now. Axe in hand, Ryoichi locks in for the brutal training ahead. Veteran Musikas brandishes a massive high-tech spear. Ryoichi instantly recognizes the tool's insignia, the mark of the Triangular Magic Machine Company. Maseki claimed no one could wield this instrument, and the old man's smirk confirms it. This cursed spear has a dark history. Every owner died in battle, trading their life for a guaranteed win. Ryoichi's shocked Masaikus can handle the weapon, but the veteran admits he hasn't mastered it. One mistake means instant death. Koko reminds them this spear made Masekis a legend. She draws her blade, eager to clash. She lunges, blade slamming against the massive lance. They trade a flurry of blows, steel clashing at blinding speeds. Koko's forced back, stunned by the heavy weapon's speed. Beating a spear with a sword takes triple the skill. Ryoichi dives in, parrying the Chimera Lun's thrust with his axe. Masekis is stunned. Mastering an axe in this chaos takes elite skill. Masaki easily dominates, calling Ryoichi's skills amateur but his growth rate insane. The veteran senses the kid's massive hidden power, realizing he's already crushed enemies way above his level. Ryoichi brushes off the praise as pure survival, while Koko dares Masaki to finally go all out. The old man shuts it down, save your strength for the dragon, don to waste your life on a duel. Elsewhere, Mahalo trains the young evacuees. One girl excitedly shows off her first aqua ball. The girls joke about magic poses and looks. They need magic to help Ryoichi slay the dragon, but Malo warns basic attacks are useless. Defense is the priority. She suggests body enhancement magic to survive. This non-elemental art warps physical laws to supercharge the user's body. Mid-lesson, the girls brainstorm ways to use this magic. The military crashes their training. Karaslaya Knight. Julius formally introduces himself. The dragon subjugation force is here. 280 soldiers from the Baron, Duke, and Kingdom are camping at the mountain base. The general summons Ryoichi and Masaekis, the only ones who've faced dragons before. Koko roots for Ryoichi, their leader. They face General Gustal, who instantly demands a dragon report. Ryoichi reveals the dragon is just a juvenile, not-level sland with only a fraction of a full twin dragon's power. The general's impressed, praising Ryoichi's appraisal skills and beast-repelling power. Impressed, he offers Ryoichi a spot as a royal knight. Masekius calls it a rare honor, a shot at nobility. Ryoichi refuses, admitting he didn't beat the dragon alone and his sparring proves he's still too weak. The general calls him a curiosity, massive power, zero ambition. He leads them outside to reveal the gathered soldiers. The Baron, Duke, and Kingdom's armies assemble, hungry for glory and fame. The general rallies his elites, his voice booming. The dragon is young and wounded, their one shot at glory. Great feats earn the title of Honorary Knight and Eternal Family fame. But as the soldiers rule, Ryoichi feels out of place. Their cheers shake the valley. Masikas grins, loving the pre-battle rush. Ryoichi's a pacifist civilian, so he's told to let the army handle the battle and retreat to the giant sanctuary. Ryoichi leaves the war camp behind. He returns to the sanctuary late at night and wakes me up. Koko says me stayed up for him and asks about the Subjugation Army. Ryoichi's god-level appraisal reveals the soldiers outclass him. Realizing he'd be a burden, he stays behind to help the evacuees. He spends the next few days at the sanctuary, cooking massive meals for the residents. Koko and Moa serve meals, uniting the shelter. Mala scores a non-elemental magic book as a gift, instantly hooked on its physical enhancement spells. Days later, Ryoichi hauls supplies through the rain, expecting the army's victorious return. Moa rushes in to help. He tells her to grab 3 bags of bread from the storeroom's narrow passage. She takes the job and bolts. He watches her leave, grabbing the bags with grit. Her bright energy always lifts his spirits. A massive tremor rocks the facility. Alarms scream, Level 5 emergency. Armed guards sprint past, yelling for everyone to hit the underground shelters. The facility is under attack. The ceiling collapses. Ryoichi panics. Moa's still inside. He screams her name. Heavy rubble completely buries the passage where she stood. His eyes snap wide in terror. He stares at the carnage, frozen in shock. He claws through the debris with bare hands, screaming her name. He digs with everything he's got, but gets no answer. A roar chills him. Impossible the army was supposed to stop that dragon. A giant reptilian eye glares through the dome's massive crack. Ryoichi looks up in terror, gasping a single word, dragon. Back at the dark cave, a furious commander blasts his troops. Mission failed, and the blame game is on. Some say the Baron broke formation, while others claim the Duke ditched duty to chase glory. The argument spiraled into trash talk. A massive shockwave silences them all. An armored general steps forward to halt the descent. Shagrind realized his mixed force failed and ordered an immediate pursuit of the beast. The dragon fled toward the giant sanctuary, heading straight for other settlements. Inside the ruins, Ryoichi stares at the destruction in horror. Panicked and guilty, he hunts for Moa, screaming her name in total despair. The ceiling collapses, but Kokona tackles him clear of the falling debris. He fought to reach Moa in the rubble, but Kokona forced him out as the building crumbled. The building crumbles, burying all hope of finding Moa. Seeing a bloodied, vengeful Ryoichi, Kokona refuses to let him continue. Ignoring her desperate cries, he marches straight toward the beast that caused this tragedy. Facing the massive dragon, he spoke coldly. He wasn't a dying today. Stopping the kill. He roars, unleashing divine cloning to spawn 4 identical copies. 5 warriors leap together, swarming the dragon. Their joint strike slams his head, shattering the surrounding stone. The beast recoils in agony, finally taking real damage. Wounded by the army, the dragon's power was still absolute. Ryoichi and his clones charge, driving their blades deep into the beast's scales. He swore they'd take it down alone. Kokona sees his grit and rushes to back him up. They unleash a flurry, shredding the dragon's flesh. Mala watched from afar, stunned. Are they insane for taking that monster head on? I find her, and she tearfully recounts seeing Moa buried under the rubble. She warns Ryoichi is fighting recklessly, blinded by a grief mirroring his father's tragic end. Mia prays Mo's alive, desperate to stop Ryoichi and Kokona before they're lost too. Kokona realizes their sword strikes haven't even dented the dragon's health. Ryoichi checks the status, eyes wide in shock. The dragon's health barely budged. To their horror, the deep wounds seal instantly. This beast's regeneration is on a whole different level. Normal attacks are useless, so Kokona tells Ryoichi to buy time for her secret technique. He agrees, sending clones to distract the beast. The dragon thrashes, swatting clones one by one. Ryoichi hit his limit. He's got nothing left. He watched the beast regenerate, praying Kokona would hurry. The strain breaks him. His body fails as he coughs up blood. Kokona knew this reckless move would drain her life force. No choice left, she steels her resolve to find life among the dead. She drops her secret technique, Moon Lotus Flash Blossom. A blur of light and speed, one beautiful, devastating strike. She severs both the dragon's arms and targets its neck next. She sprints up its scaly back, ready for the final blow. The dragon counters, whipping its tail and slamming her with brutal force. Ryoichi watches in horror as she's slammed into the rubble, out cold. The maimed dragon roars victory. Looming over Kokona, its maw glowed red for a fatal blast as Ryoichi scrambled for a way to stop it. He spots a familiar weapon stuck in the ground, Masekis' spear. No time to think, he spots the cursed weapon, his only chance. She props him up in the ruins, his body soaked in enemy blood. The dragon bellows, its roar shaking the ruins. He rams the spear into the creature's skull with his last strength, praying Kasekison's weapon is enough. Hope turns to ash. The spear, meant to pierce anything, barely scratches the beast's hide. The monster thrashes, slamming him into a crumbling wall. It towers over his broken body, eyes burning with malice. He grits his teeth. This weapon is way weaker than he thought. Through the pain, he realizes the truth. It's just a clone. Kokosan's strike severed the beast's arms, pinning it down. Now's his chance. He pulls the spear's hidden trigger to unleash its true, devastating power. His AI screams through the chaos, begging him to stop with a dire warning about the spear. Wait, let's make it even shorter. His AI. This modded weapon isn't for humans anymore. The recoil shreds even magic armor. Fire it and you're dead. Mikan suggests a clone fire. The weapon brilliant, but impossible. Magic's drained. This creature is the last clone he could barely summon. His AI begs him to retreat, reminding him survival comes first. Villagers watch the monitor, praying for their hero's return. The villagers refuse to watch him suffer. An old warrior steps up to take his place, ready to die all over again. Others refuse to let the village hero die, insisting this role is for someone with no time left. They storm the door, racing to the surface to fight in his place. His face hardens with resolve. He grips the trigger and gives a final command Dawn to open that door no matter what. He's about to sacrifice himself, but I rush in, begging him to wait. She grabs him, panicking. She knows that weapon will kill him. He screams for her to run as the walls collapse, but she stays, refusing to let him die. I'll protect my brother, she vows, shielding him with her body. She activates enhancement magic, turning her body diamond hard to tank the fatal recoil. He watches in horror, screaming that if she dies, Moa is lost too. Mia cuts in, voice trembling but firm. Moa can use this magic too. Crying, she confesses she can live without him, begging for his trust to slay the dragon and rescue Moa. Her resolve kills his doubt. Let's go, he says firmly. They turn as one to face the charging dragon. The beast lunges, jaws wide, ready to devour. United by blood, they aim for one decisive blast. After the carnage, Ryu cradles a bloody, unconscious Mia in the ruins. The tower erupts as Masekis's enchanted spear detonates deep inside the dragon. A fiery blast rips the beast apart from within as Mahalo screams their names in terror. Masekis emerges from the dust unscathed. He eyes the girl, shocked. She's mastered his hardening technique so young. Guess living long has its perks. Mai's technique is incomplete. It saved Ryo, but she couldn't protect herself from the impact. Ryu's shocked the old warrior survived. How did his spear end up inside the dragon? Masekis smirks. The Chimera lance is too heavy to haul while chasing, so he let them carry it, confident he's fast enough to snatch it back later. Ryo's stunned, shouting he nearly died with that spear. Makus admits he never expected Ryo to fight. Annoyed, the kid stole his glory. He brushes it off, reaching out to the beaten hero. Ryo's alive, and that's all that counts. That boldness is a rank material. Their survival wasn't a luck. It was fate. Ryu thinks of Moa, but Masekis notes Mi is still shielding him even while unconscious. Mahalo arrives, hauling an unconscious Moa she tracked down with search magic. Moa's still hardened by her ability, making her injuries impossible to treat for now. He pulls both girls close as Masekis promises they'll wake up soon. Ryu offers a massive parfait for Malo's help, and the elf agrees as long as she gets a hug. Peace ends as Gio and the guild rush in to check on Ryo. Gio apologizes for his doubt, naming Ryo's crew village heroes. Kokonatsu's sister is awake, though badly injured. Mari the android projects in with the report. The dragon is dead. The shrine's wrecked and golems are out, but Ryu saved the underground storage. She confirms the villagers are safe. Ryu's relieved but guilty for scrapping his golems. Marie promises they can be restored if their cores are intact. The shrine is falling apart and fixing it will be a nightmare. Now the shrine's master, Ryu vows to restore it using clones and magical machinery. Marie smiles, eager for that day to arrive. The hyped leader tasks the woodworking guild with the rebuild and demands Ryo stay put. He demands a victory party and booze, but his annoyed crew insists the wounded rest. Light floods the ruined shrine as Moa and I scream awake, the battle still fresh in our minds. Rio greets them, relieved they're finally awake after the ordeal. Mia's mortified, realizing she's been clinging to Ryu the entire time she was out. Malo notes, Mai and Rio aren't related, mortifying me and realizing she's a future rival. Koko joins them, fully healed by Malo's magic. She thanks Rio for the save, but Marie interrupts. VIP guests have arrived. Armored soldiers block their path, a wall of military authority. Leading them is a face Rio and Koko recognize General Gustal. The general bows low, apologizing for letting the dragon escape and thanking the heroes for their help. For their heroics, General Gustal names Ryoichi Ishikawa and Koko Youth Gaburdius Honorary Knights. He summons them to the capital, Clavel. The crew crowds the map, eyes locked on the capital as the weight of their next journey finally hits. Leaving is sad, but with her new title, Koko must report to her father and head home. A new plan forms. The journey isn't over. The squad will travel the world together to visit each other's homes. United, their path is clear. The world is vast, and these new titles are just stepping stones for the journey ahead. Resolve steeled, they set their sights on the royal capital, Clavel. Village rebuilding post-dragon attack, Ryoichi gears up for his next journey. He apologizes for leaving, but the villagers cheer him on, taking charge of the rebuild. The woodworking guild gathers to see off their rising star. The priest, Kokonatsu sisters, and the whole town give him a heartfelt send-off, promising he's always welcome back. With a final wave to their friends, Ryoichi's party heads for the royal capital. Ryoichi realizes one farewell is unnecessary. His wrist projects a hologram machine. His AI greets her master. He tells the group he found a strange watch during the restoration and uploaded Michen's OS inside. Michen explains the device acts like a phone, camera, and PS, but it's currently stuck offline. Ryoichi's made copies for everyone. Scan your biometrics to stay connected across any distance. Mayalo is livid, realizing she's now bound to Ryoichi as her master. Tech hype quickly turns into playful bickering. They reach a clearing where a grand carriage waits. Julius, a knight in full plate, arrives to escort Ryoichi's party to the capital. The carriage speeds off, flanked by its knight escort. Inside, the group gawks at the luxury. For his deeds, Julius names Ryoichi an honorary knight. He explains the title is a stepping stone stack enough wins, and Ryoichi joins the nobility. Julius notes Ryoichi is already General Gustal's favorite. The general wants Ryoichi as his direct subordinate in the Royal Knights. This sudden turn has Ryoichi worried. Night falls as the convoy reaches General Gustal's camp. Julius leads the party to the command tent and reports to the general. General Gustal glares up from his papers, demanding Julius explain the girls with Ryoichi. Moa and I nervously introduce ourselves as Ryoichi's little sisters. The general softens, his eyes warming. They're so adorable they remind him of his granddaughter back in the capital. The general drops a bombshell: the army is starving. The dragon torched their supplies and ruined E's village has nothing left to give. Worse yet, the local monsters are inedible. Ryoichi seizes the chance with a wild plan: eat the dragon meat. The general freezes. Eating a dragon is insane. Ryoichi pulls the massive carcass from his item box, the beast's body dwarfing the entire army. Michen clears the dragon meat. It's safe, lean, and tastes like crocodile. Ryoichi fires up the pan. Soon, meat sizzles across the camp. The final dish: garlic soy dragon, tutsuta age with assorted sauces. The general and his men take a cautious bite, and the explosive flavor sends a surge of pure power through their veins. The head chef is floored by the flavor, hailing Ryoichi's talent as a massive asset to the army. Ryoichi's crew feasts, stunned to be eating the beast that once terrorized the land. That night, Julian reveals they're sharing 2 3-person tents. Picking beds, Moa clings to Koko. Ryoichi puts the 4 girls in one tent, claiming the other for himself. Night falls and he drifts off to sleep. Milo slips into the tent, teasing him about being alone with a woman. Ryoichi calls her a kid, sparking her rage, but she suddenly doubles over from too much fried dragon. The noise draws the girls, who burst in to see the chaos. The sisters start playing, and the tent erupts into total chaos. Koko watches the flickering tent, dreading her return to the hometown. Gustal and Julius overhear the commotion, mistaking the chaos for a lover's spat. Next morning, they head for the capital Razumiz. Soon, the royal castle's spires loom on the horizon. They hit Kraval, a massive capital city with towering walls and bustling streets. Julius orders formal wear for the ennoblement ceremony and drags them to a tailor. Inside, he gears up the whole squad. The girls are hyped to rock stunning dresses for the occasion. They show Ryoichi their new outfits, and he calls them lovely princesses. Koko appears, explaining her dress is still being fixed and one to be ready until tomorrow. Business done, Julius lets them roam the capital until tomorrow's ceremony. Stranded in the massive city, the group has no clue where to start. Milo points the way to the grand temple on the hill. They reach Sylphina's wind temple, packed with way more worshippers than the one in Alal. A priestess blesses the crowd, but Milo refuses Ryoichi's offer as Undile's servant. She can't accept blessings from other gods. Ryoichi kneels. The priestess touches him, and energy surges through his body, a true blessing. Koko notes his experience is rare. Most feel absolutely nothing. Suddenly, a voice calls his name. Ryoichi recognizes Kamishiro-san, while Malo stares in total shock. Chief, he's not Kamishiro. He's the first apostle, Mikalia-sama. Ryoichi's stunned to run into Apostle Michaelius, who explains this temple honors Sylphina, a goddess serving the high god Savath. Ryoichi decodes the divine hierarchy, wondering if this is why God Mun never blessed them. Michaelius laughs off the god's messy drama, relieved Ishikawa and his crew are safe. He asks me and Moa if we're happy, and we both cheer life with Ryoichi as pure joy. The apostle sees it all. Reiwa's noble heart, the swordswoman's fierce aura, and the priest's holy water blessing. His praise humbles the duo as they bow in gratitude. Michaelius warns them to travel and gather divine blessings, because villains will eventually hunt them down. He warns conquer the gods' trials to unlock divine powers. Michaelius vanishes in a column of light. The priest grills Ryoichi over his eerie calm and that massive power. Koko admits her awe far outweighed the fear of facing the dragon. She realizes her hunt for power was too narrow. This temple pilgrimage gives their journey a massive new purpose. The crew preps for the investiture ceremony at a massive estate. Suited up, they prep for the big event. Even Malo's acting more mature and graceful. She rocks a black dress and blonde hair, earning a compliment from Ryoichi. Koko's visibly awkward in the frilly dress, shyly asking for their thoughts. Ryoichi's stunned by her look, and Malo clocks his reaction. A knight arrives, whisking them by carriage to the massive ducal palace. This massive structure screams raw power. Elite nobles pack the grand hall, oozing wealth and intimidation. The herald kicks off the dragon victory party, and the pressure hits Ryoichi and Koko hard. The duke takes his throne and shocks the room, ordering the dragon's carcass brought forth. The massive slain beast hits the hall, silencing the entire room. The nobles stare in total disbelief. He hails General Gustav and his brave subjugation force. The duke awards him the Dragon Slayer medal. He eyes the messengers risking their lives to report the dragon. Before the court, the duke names Ryoichi Ishikawa and Koko Youth Gaberdius Honorary Knights. They accept the honor as the nobles cheer. Ceremony ends. They're rushed to a private meeting with Masekis and Baron Giller. They've joined the nobility, but their title is local only. Rack up more achievements, and true knighthood is next. The Baron exposes the bitter feud between island nobles and the arrogant capital elites. He apologizes for venting his troubles. The Baron pushes for more island power, inviting Ryoichi to join his cause. Before Ryoichi can answer, a man interrupts, apologizes for the Baron, and tries to recruit them. He keeps the offer open but warns they aren't built for noble schemes, they should see the world instead. Overlooking the city, he shares a final truth. Most nobles live trapped behind these walls, blind to the world outside. Back in their room, Moa and I congratulate the new knights. Before the banquet, Koko collapses from exhaustion. Mai suggests a card game for a quick breather. Everyone's hyped for the idea. Mia reads their fortune, claiming the Ace of Hearts signals a brand new encounter. Moa's wish for banquet friends forces the others to face their lowly commoner status. The game begins, and Milo steps up as mentor. A curious girl with a crown peeks in, drawn by the noise. She heard the fun and had to check it out. Moa introduces herself and immediately invites the stranger to join. Kirika joins the group as they teach her how to play Old Maid. Hold the joker and you lose the card of the demon. Kirika's eyes gleam. She demands a punishment game for the loser, instantly cranking the stakes to the max. Punishment game set. Kirika demands the loser obey the winner's every command. Ryoichi's worried, but Kirika keeps it light, making a swimsuit the prize instead of something sketchy. Ryoichi's clueless about swimsuits, so Kirika pulls a waterproof, fast-drying one straight from her item box. The stretchy material wows the group, and Mia bets her old maid win to claim the suit. The prize is just harmless clothing, so Ryoichi accepts the match. Stakes skyrocket, and a hungry Moa demands donuts. He explains the pastry, and a new rule drops. The girls team up. If Ryoichi loses, he owes them treats. He accepts, but if he wins, they get nothing. His declaration chills the room as the girls stare him down with icy intensity. Kirika slyly baits Moa into picking a specific card. After a whisper, Moa picks a card. Ryoichi watches, suspicious of their secret plan. Moa plays a pair down to her last card. Thinking the last card is safe, Ryoichi strikes. Shocked, he draws the joker, sealing his defeat. Mi explains his defeat a psychological war where his own doubt cost him everything. Ryoichi slumps in defeat as the girls cheer, exposing their coordinated trap. He was played from the start, and they celebrate with fresh donuts. Ryoichi folds, handing over the swimsuit and the sweets. They inhale the treats, but Mo's share is nothing but crumbs. Ryoichi mulls over the swimsuit until a maid interrupts the group. Maid Ishikawa's relieved she finally found Kirika. She tells the noble her dad's worried and she needs to prep for the banquet. Cut to a grand hall packed with aristocrats. Kirika's father, the Duke, thanks Ryoichi for looking after his daughter. Ryoichi bows apologizes for missing her rank, but the Duke brushes it off, urging him to stay friends with his lonely daughter. Kirika watches them deep in thought. She tells Ryoichi to ditch the formalities. She insists they use first names Kirika and Ryoichi. He accepts, and the crew celebrates their new bond. They'll tour the capital tomorrow before Kirkport, and Kirika eagerly steps up as their guide. Ryoichi worries about escorting the Duke's daughter without any backup. Maid Arena steps up, vowing to protect Kirika during the outing. Back at the banquet, Moa's exhausted from entertaining so many men. Next day, their capital tour begins. They gawk at the city's iconic giant windmill. Kirika explains its role, sensing a breeze that suggests Ryoichi is blessed by the wind, God Sylphina. She shares a legend. Kirkport's wind spirits grant wishes to the kind-hearted. She warns Dante challenge these spirits. Even elite warriors get slaughtered without a fight. Ryoichi knows spirits are sacred, nothing like those hostile monsters. They keep exploring the busy city streets. The capital's too massive to explore in a day. Ryoichi finds a bookstore packed with magic tomes. The owner reveals a rare book marked by triangle magic. Ryoichi drops a fortune on a handwritten manual for ancient magic tools in a forgotten script. Kirika asks about the ancient text. Ryoichi can read it, but he can write it. Moa reveals her magic tools and triggers a small device. A hologram links Kirika and Moa, letting them talk across massive distances. Kirika's blown away by the insane tech. She spots a resemblance, but the device finds no match for the maid Arena. Match day ends, and Kirika promises to finish the tour tomorrow. Irina shuts her down. Classes are mandatory and the trip is final. Kirika accepts her father's deal and vows to see her friends off. 2 days later, the squad departs the capital. Ryoichi realizes Kirika's noble status is just a cage. Kirika rushes for a final goodbye, telling them their bond meant everything. Seeing her friend's sadness, Mo bursts into tears. She hands Ryoichi a second comm to pass to Kirika so they can stay connected. He accepts to save their bond, and Kirika hands him a gift as thanks. He opens it to find a custom arena swimsuit tailored just for her. Kirika bought it for Moa, but was warned it's too risky to wear in public. Parting ways, Arena drops a grim warning about Kirkport. She reports that violent ship attacks have plagued the region for a month, and the culprits are hiding east of Melisol Island. The Black Pirate Group, led by the infamous Barbarossa. Barbarossa and his crew scan the horizon. The peace is over. Their journey is about to get lethal. The crew hits Kirkport and is instantly floored by the massive, beautiful ocean stretching before them. While the group admires the view, their friends handle the ferry boarding and plan to meet later. Plans halted. A dock worker warns all ships are grounded. Pirates were spotted nearby. Confirmed it's the pirates. Arena warned them about. Shipwrights are furious every time they fix a ship. The pirates just wreck it again. Worse yet, a wood shortage makes repairs impossible. Raiwachi steps in, pulling blessed wood from Aya's village out of his inventory. The shipwrights are stunned. It's top-tier blessed wood, thought impossible to find since the dragon attack on Ia's. Grateful, they rush him to the guildmaster, knowing item box users are rare treasures. They offer fair pay for the wood and led him straight to the guild. They meet the guildmaster, who's already heard about the wood delivery. He recognizes Raiwichi and Koko, revealing he saw them knighted for slaying the dragon. He offers Ryoichi a rank up to match his power, but Ryoichi refuses, insisting they're adventurers, not nobles. Formalities over, Helt gets straight to business and issues a designated request. He explains the crisis. Barbarossa's black pirates decimated the Alabissara company, so General Gustav's force was sent to wipe them out. These weren't ordinary thugs. They rivaled royal knights in power, and their mage's massive disruption magic completely flipped the script. Stakes skyrocket as the Duke summons a dragon mid-fight. Gustav's back, and Helt says it's time to strike. He needs their help for the subjugation. Ryoichi hesitates. He's a monster hunter, not a human killer. Koko hates killing but knows they can hold back in battle. Helt notes their kindness. Giving them time to decide, he suggests Spirit Lake, noting spirits love kind people, especially kids. The sea's too dangerous, so Ryoichi picks a safe triptych trip for the younger members. The kids show off the custom toy boats they just built and painted. Ryoichi praises the colorful boats and launches them into the safe lake. They reach the vast, quiet Motens Lake. Prepping toy boats, the girls are captivated by the stunning lake. They hit the water and start splashing. Koko recalls her brutal ice river training as the girls beg for swim lessons. Arena gifted the swimsuit, crafted from leftover fabric. Flustered, Koko preps to show off her unique swim style. Her insane swimming technique leaves Ryuichi speechless. Post-swim, it's time for a barbecue. Ryoichi uses his powers to cook a feast, filling the air with charcoal-grilled scents. He serves up grilled squid, corn, and yakisoba. He spots a stone stand and drops the food on it. The soy sauce scent pulls everyone in for a feast. Ryoichi turns back, but the food he just set down has vanished. Malo screams in shock that stand is no table. Light shimmers, revealing the Great Spirit's altar as the deity manifests. The spirit admits the smell was irresistible, so she summoned her altar to feast. She loves the gift and asks for more, so Ryoichi hands her a box of donuts. Impressed by the offering, the Great Spirit grants them her blessing. Ethereal spirits swarm them, drawn by the blessing. The kids love these fluffy, cute spirits. The Great Spirit's blessing grants mastery over every element. Malo realizes this is a hero's power, reserved only for when a demon king rises. Ryoichi scans the beast and freezes. It's as strong as a dragon. The wind spirit snaps, furious at being called a girl. Ryoichi apologizes, but the spirit knows a name seals their contract. Spotting the lily ornament on its head, Ryoichi names it. He names her Lily, and the spirit accepts. Name accepted, contract sealed. A spirit gate opens, linking their magic directly. Back at Kurtport, a lone figure stands on a ship's deck. A knight approaches, asking what caught their eye. Oleon Bark's spirit just sensed a new spirit mage being born nearby. Knight acts fast. Spirit mages are vital, so she orders an island-wide search to find and recruit them. Oleon stares at the sea. The word comrades now just a distant echo. The knight insists Oleon is a legendary A-ranker, envied by all. Oleon knows the truth. His title is a mark of solitude. Every teammate he's ever had has eventually vanished. Smoke rises in the clearing as a dazed Ryoichi struggles to his knees. Confusion turns to shock as a white antlered cat spirit appears on his shoulder. The spirit gate is a success. Lily accepts Ryoichi's other contracts and joins him. Sayori, Kohana, Wirano, and Kakun celebrate their new bond with Ryoichi in pure joy. Ryoichi's stunned all four accepted him, proving their hearts are pure. The others are won over, but Lily's still acting moody. The cat spirit snaps, demanding a contract gift and vowing to become a great spirit. Ryoichi calms her with donuts, the same treat the great spirit loved. Lily and the spirits swarm the offering, devouring the pastries instantly. The party's over as Maala warns this contract isn't just a meal, and their bond is already failing. Lily explains their new powers. Reiwaki's body now houses a spirit gate to the other world, making them all spirit mages. The gate amps his magic into spirit magic, letting spirits cast elements he lacks by converting his raw power. Lily explains spirits amplify and convert power, but true strength depends on the bond with the contractor. If that connection fails, magic becomes weak and inaccurate. Sori loves the friendship power-up, but Ryoichi's worried, how do you talk to a spirit that only eats and sleeps? Ryoichi hits the ancient ruins to test his new powers immediately. He pumps magic through the spirit gate, ordering Lily to snipe an apple with wind. She fires, loving the rush. A wind cutter erupts, shredding the apple and slicing clean through the massive stone structure. Ryoichi reels, overwhelmed by the massive power of a basic spell. At the Kirk Guild, Ryoichi and Sori report in the official Isen T surprised he knew Ryoichi would land a spirit contract. Spirit mage Oleon Bark intercepts them, announcing she and her squad have been waiting. Ryoichi's stunned another spirit mage, and he's backed by armored knights. Guildmaster says Oleon's party wants a word. Julia steps forward, calling their timing perfect and terrible. He unfurls a scroll, an official summons drafting every spirit mage on Milisar Island to hunt pirates. Ryoichi and Saori are stunned. Julius reveals naval war. Here is just long-range spirit mage duels. These pirates have mages summoning massive tornadoes and whirlpools, demanding equal power to stop them. Saori asks the cost of refusal. The master's grim answer: stripped titles and charges for dodging the draft. Out of options, they board a massive ship about to sail. On deck, they suspect a guildmaster setup. For Sori, being a fugitive means shaming her family and losing her home forever. On the docks, young spirits too small for the summons wave a tearful goodbye. A female knight unit is assigned to protect Julius Asurioichi as they depart. Sailing ahead, Oleon warns the pirates' power is spiraling into a massive threat. They've fought these elite spirit mages before. It's a stalemate, and they need Ryoaki to tip the scales. Ryoichi doubts his new powers, but Bolian senses massive potential, promising more strength as they learn to communicate. She reaches out, welcoming him as a reliable new ally. Oleon asks if he fears spirit mages like everyone else. Ryoichi realizes she's a rank, rivaling the strongest warriors he knows. Most high rankers are a nightmare, but Ryoichi is actually friendly and fair. Relieved to find a solid ally, he's ready to learn from her. Moved by his sincerity, she beams. She insists he drop the formalities, just call her Carrie. A violent lurch cuts their conversation short. Knight screams a warning starboard attack. Fire magic torches the deck. Another blast slams the ship. A pirate ship bursts through the smoke, its captain taunting from the bow. The enemy ship blitzes forward, black sails looming as they prepare to board. The pirates strike up close, shattering the intel that they only fight from a distance. Captain orders the attack and his crew swarms the deck. A pirate reports their spirit mage teleported back to port. The captain sighs, calling him a selfish slacker who hates close combat. He's unbothered, sure the mage will get bored and return. Back at the port, the kids meet their new guardian junior knight Fay Ray Molasson. The knight warns them to hide their spirits in their gates to avoid being targeted, but eyes watch from the shadows. A sinister cloaked figure watches the three spirits, eyeing their power and demanding they join him. He spins the tentacled beast on his staff and hisses, "Right, Kraken!" The hooded figure looms, holding the terrified girls captive. Steel rings across the deck as pirates fight for their lives. Barbarossa mocks his foes. "While you hunted dragons, we built our power. Now you've saved us the trouble of finding you." He bellows at his crew to target Catherine, the kingdom's fire spirit magician. Catherine counters, dark energy exploding across the deck. Shadowy flames engulf the area as Ryoichi screams her name. Catherine emerges from the inferno unscathed, dragon spirit in tow. She mocks their weak flames and prepares to return the favor. She counters, blasting a torrent of black fire. Ryoichi calls out in relief, but the terrified sailors whisper she's a monster. The insult cuts deep, her face twisting in pain. Ryoichi tries to comfort her, but she's lost in a bitter memory. "My comrade said that too," she whispers. Haunted by the past, she hides her face, doubting her strength. Elsewhere, beastkin Sawari parries a pirate, mocking his weak skill and questioning their honor for breaking the code against harming women and children. He laughs. Did that hurt? It's a waste to kill a beauty like you. Ori narrows her eyes, ignoring the bait, but her spirit is livid. The pirate freezes in shock. She's a spirit magician. A massive white wolf spirit appears behind her, blasting a wind vortex. Pirates spiral into chaos, trapped in the cyclone and screaming that the capital has another spirit magician. Pirates corner Ryoichi, stunned by his cat spirit. He's the third magician. He clones himself instantly, catching the attackers off guard. He and his clones push the attack, clashing with the pirates head-on. Impressed by their skills, Barbarossa makes an offer. Join his crew for freedom and booze, or stay and be discarded by the nobles. A knight blocks the path, sword drawn. Barbarossa, I am your opponent. Minnie mocks the boy's prosthetic, growling that he doesn't play fair as he reveals a massive cannon. He fires instantly, blasting a hole straight through the deck. We're taking on Water Knight's panic while Barbarossa smirks they're pinned. All right, boys, let's move. The pirates flee, leaving the heroes helpless as their ship sinks. Malo's voice rings in Ryoichi's head. Ryoichi, Disaster Moa and I have been taken. The spirit reports a total defeat crushed by a sinister man wielding a cursed water spirit. Ryoichi begs for their location, but the device stays silent. His spirit warns a hardening spell masked them, making them untraceable. Ryoichi still senses his allies' spirit gates nearby and spots the pirate ship fleeing on the horizon. Aboard the ship, a cloaked figure confronts Barbarossa. Wait, he's already retreated. Barbarossa snaps at the attitude. You vanished when it mattered. The knights are already shaking. The figure finds it boring, asking why any enemies are still alive. He gestures back. Found these spirit-wielding sisters at Kelkport. A little training and they'll be useful. The figure's got Moa and me trapped in its grasp. Barbarossa's livid. They're just kids, and the code says women and children are off limits. The robed figure sighs. Boring. You disappoint me, Barbarossa. Captain draws his blade. Drop the kids or die right now. The figure turns, dark energy swirling. You want to fight? Bring it. A pirate screams, but too late a shadow tendril bursts from the deck, skewering him. Bastard his crew roars, vowing to rip the attacker apart. They charge, blades out. High on the mast, the attacker watches another pirate fall to an unseen force. Teleportation makes surrounding him useless. He's ready to break his toys, starting with the spirit magicians. They eye the captives. What now? Tossing them would be a waste. A figure plunges from the sky, hurtling toward the deck. The robed attacker gasps as Matt's spirit drops from the sky. Who are you? Enemies here. Ryoichi slams onto the deck, wood and vines shielding the girls as he glares at his foe. High in the rigging, a hooded figure confronts Ryoichi, branding him an enemy. The attacker knows his name. Ryoichi freezes, demanding to know how. The figure mocks him, recounting the kids and Elf Priestess crying his name in apology, seething with jealousy over the love he receives. Furious, Ryoichi hurls a spinning energy disc that slices toward his foe. The attack misses but shatters the main mast, snapping the wood and stunning the crew. Danger's spiking, so Ryoichi ditches the fight to save the kids. He grabs them, tells Lily they're out, and uses wind magic to blast an escape route. The enemy flashes behind them, sneering. Dangerous, right? Think you can escape. A dark energy spear bursts through Ryoichi's back, impaling him instantly. The strike sprays blood across the deck. The figure mocks his slow pace, insulting the dead weight he's hauling. Ryoichi collapses, bleeding out. The kids rush to him, safe but terrified by his wounds. Bleeding and broken, he orders them to safety, swearing he'll heal and not to worry. A girl clings to him, sobbing that his arms are the safest place in the world. Captain Barbarossa steps up, booming a reminder of their pirate code to the crew. He says they spare women and kids and their families are off limits too. The hooded figure scoffs from above, furious that a code-breaking bastard just ruined their chaos. Fed up, the attacker charges a sinister power to end it all. Terrifying energy surges, swallowing the ship as he laughs. The real fun starts now. They compress a water spirit's magic to the max, summoning a massive vortex beside the ship. Ignoring the pain, Ryoichi intercepts another attack. He's back, But the enemy teleports in, smirking that resistance is futile. They order him to die, unleashing dark projectiles that pierce his body repeatedly. The carnage repeats as Ryoichi's clones are skewered all over the ship's rigging. The attacker's losing patience just as a girl frantically radios him. Kohana's secret plan is live. She figured out the Kraken water spirit teleports enemies by swallowing them. Now she just has to seal it. Fed up with the fight, Ryoichi demands more, vowing to slaughter his loved ones next time they meet. Bloodied but unbroken, Ryoichi grips his blade and snarls, "No, next time," stunning the enemy with his defiance. They mock his charge, effortlessly dodging his desperate swings. Ryoichi closes the gap. He lands a heavy straight, smashing the enemy's jaw. The masked figure hits the deck, spitting blood, desperate to teleport. But the Kraken doesn't answer. Ryoichi towers over his foe, the spirit finally captured. With absolute resolve, he drops a final warning. "If you dare harm my family or friends, no more mercy." Cultist bleeding on the deck, the boy stares at his trembling, blood-soaked hands. The fallen man isn't done. He points a trembling finger, realization hitting him hard. "Damn it, who are you?" he rasps, eyes widening behind his mask. "That black hair, those eyes, I've seen you before." The cultist recalls a grim journey to the Hill of the Dead, a fallen kingdom built by a hero with legendary otherworldly magic. The cultist remembers the Founder's portrait, King Dorado, the otherworldly visitor. This boy looks exactly like him. Dorado's legend is real. He crushed a sorcerer, saved an elf princess, and became a selfless king loved by everyone. By marrying her, he secured it all status, wealth, and fame. The cultist turns venomous, revealing the story as hidden secrets. He sneers that the books lied perfect heroes don't exist, and he absolutely hates them. The truth was darker. At their peak, with Senri pregnant, Dorado's mind snapped cursed by the sorcerer he'd defeated. Driven mad, Dorado torched his kingdom and slaughtered everyone in one night, killing his pregnant wife before ending his own life. The cultist cackles like a maniac. Thrilling story, right? I serve the fallen King Dorado. Follow his path, and I'm yours. A dark magic circle flares as he drops a final ultimatum. Kill me now, or blood rains down on your sisters. This is no bluff high on the deck. Blood spears manifest and skewer pirates and captives alike. Barbarossa screams through the chaos, desperate to save the girls. "Friends in danger!" Ryoichi snaps. He growls, "You want dark power? Fine, I'll bury you with advanced dark magic." Skeletal shadow hands claw into existence around him. Lily screams for Ryoichi to stop. His spirit power is massive, but the cost is high. Push too far, and he'll become the very monster he's fighting. "Sorry, Lily," he mutters, eyes locked on his foe. He needs the dark to cross the line. Instead of fire, pure shadow erupts from his body, stunning the cultists. Dark energy erupts in a chaotic torrent. Ryoichi's about to land the killing blow when Carrie grabs his arm. "Enough," she warns. "Punching trash like him will rot your arm off." She kicks the cultist across the deck before he can even react. Ryoichi's stunned Carrie. How Koko smiles as Carrie explains they can fly like him, so they teamed up. "We used wind spirit magic to toss us here in a tornado." Carrie steps forward, a beast rising behind her. "Leave this to me," she tells the terrified cultist. She stares coldly. "Don't to worry. Loveless kids like you need a hug. I'll hold back just enough to keep you alive." A blood-curdling scream echoes as her beast swallows the man. The kingdom's main fleet appears on the horizon. General Gustav is here to save them. Port secured, the general watches the pirates hauled away, wondering if he's lost his edge. Captured. Captain Barbarossa never expected the decoy ship to pack such powerful spirit users. Gustav praises Ryoichi for the bloodless pirate surrender and thanks him for healing his wounded men. The girls thank Captain Barbarossa for shielding them mid-attack. The captain respects Ryoichi, wishing they'd met sooner and jokingly offering him a spot on the crew. Barbarossa is hauled away in chains, a prisoner of the kingdom he fought. Ryoichi notes the pirates aren't pure evil. Gustav agrees, calling them a symptom of political unrest and a strike against the capital's corrupt nobles. The general declares the capital needs a total overhaul. Gustav promises Ryowaki a promotion at the Royal Council, hailing him as the talent who'll turn the tide of battle. Promising to meet and reform together, the general heads out. The dust settles as Mayalo approaches Ryoichi, head bowed in shame. "I am sorry," she whispers. "I was useless. I failed my promise and put everyone in danger." Ryoichi pulls her into a silent hug, catching her off guard. He's just glad she's safe. Flustered, she insists she's fine and won't be defeated, reminding him she's his future wife. Victory is hollow. The cultist's words haunt Ryoichi as he obsesses over King Dorado, a fellow transmigrator who committed unspeakable atrocities. He nearly moves on her elf homeland but pulls back. It's not time yet. Koko declares the pirate incident officially over. Sea lanes are safe, and Kokonatsu ferries resume. Ryoichi brushes off Dorado's darkness, stealing his resolve. Same origin or not, he's his own man. The journey continues. Next stop, the Kokonatsu Islands. Mid-ocean, Ryoichi relentlessly hones his blade aboard a ship. He trades steel with a rank carry, their blades blurring across the deck. Carry praises Eric's sword talent, the perfect match for his axe skills. His insane healing lets her go all out, but Ryoichi admits he gets crushed every time. Haunted by past failure, Ryoichi vows to get stronger to protect his team, begging Kari to train them all. Inspired, Irina and Malo beg to join. Impressed by their spirit, Kari agrees to train them all. She vows to forge them into true warriors. Peace returns as the group grabs tea. Irina and Malo show up in maid outfits. Kari's new spirit mage training to boost their feminine charm. The girls demand combat training, but Kari insists it's vital for their spiritual growth. Bonding over meals and laughs deepens your connection, eventually unlocking total spirit-human unity. Irina asks if unity triggers transformation, but Kari warns it's a rare skill. Ray Waitlady eyes a merger with his spirit, Lily. While the others train and chat, Mahalo's hit with brutal seasickness. She hands Ryoichi seasickness meds, looking just as nauseous as him. Milo calls Koko wife material, but she brushes it off, sure that no one wants a woman obsessed with the sword. Ryoichi overhears and objects, calling her stunning at the ceremony and insisting suitors are lining up. Flustered, Koko demands he take her, ditching the formal talk to call her by name. Kari and the girls watch hyped, mistaking the exchange for a confession. Misunderstanding her, Ryoichi agrees to register their party early so he can officially protect them abroad. Koko looks at him warmly, admitting her solo quest for strength was wrong. True power comes from her friends. Malo snaps, grabbing Ryoichi and declaring herself his first wife. Ryoichi panics, denying any romance and claiming the embarrassment just cured his nausea. Koko agrees, but nearing her homeland hits her with a wave of nostalgia. Land ahead. Perched on Ryoichi's shoulders, Irina points toward the islands. Koko reveals the Kokonatsu Archipelago is a 10-island chain. She's from Ishigu, but they're bound for the capital, Sungu Island. They sail into Makuni Port, a town defined by its traditional architecture. They hit land and find an inn so Mahalo can recover from her seasickness. They reach the Grand Sengoku Inn. Miyabi greets the group and asks for their shoes, a weird custom for the younger members. Miyabi leads them to their room, noting Ryoichi knows the drill unlike most mainlanders. The peony room is serene, featuring tatami mats, low tables, and zabuton cushions. Irina admires the lush grass while Ryoichi spots cultural ties to his old home, Japan. Miyabi serves tea and asks about their journey. Ryoichi reveals they're escorting Koko back to her home on Ichigo Island. Miyabi tenses up Ishigu Island is under lockdown as a major samurai family fights for succession. Tension spikes as Ryoichi suspects Koko's family is behind the chaos. Seeing their worry, Koko spills her family secrets. Her father Toshiaki serves the island's rulers and has 2 wives. His first wife had 3 sons, while his concubine had 3 daughters, including Koko. Their father was fair, but status gaps kept both houses at each other's throats. The heir is her eldest brother Sato, a talented and charismatic powerhouse. Third brother Korao is her lifelong sword rival, but she looks up to her scholarly second brother. Miyabi brings yukatas for the hot springs, but Kari stays on high alert after the grim news from Ishigu Island. At the Menace Spring, Ryoichi's stunned to find Carrie, realizing he'd totally mistaken that muscular build for a woman's. Another man joins them, Sujitani Motonari, a diplomat from the royal capital. Sujitani recognizes the name Ishikawa, the legendary dragon slayer. Calling it fate, he invites the party to dinner, and Ryoichi accepts. The girls soak in the healing bath. Ryoichi shouts through the partition. The diplomats invited them. The girls hype their outfits, but Koko's sweating the kimono's high price tag. One outfit costs 50 gold coins, leaving Malo stunned. Carrie watches closely, deep in thought. Irina, Malo, and the elf girl step out, rocking vibrant yukatas. They demand Ryoichi's take, joined by Koko in a stunning kimono. Stunned by their look, Ryoichi decides to buy every outfit. 150 gold. No problem. He's got reward money to burn and a full inventory to sell. Sujitani treats them to a lavish feast. Ryoichi thanks him, mentioning his friend's pirate ordeal. Sujitani turns grave, consoles Koko, and reveals his real mission, mediating a succession dispute. He confirms a feud between the Gabeldiaz and Koko's families, retainers to the deputy governors. Koko's stunned by the silence until Sujitani drops the bomb 2 months ago. Right before the succession, her father and brother both collapsed. They suspected poison but found zero trace. With less than a month left to live, the second and third sons are already ripping the family apart in a bitter feud. Sujitani offers a warship to Ichigo Island tomorrow. Shattered by grief, Koko drops to her knees and accepts. Ryoichi and the crew rush to her side as she trembles, vowing to save them all. Koko clings to him, whispering in anguish, how did it all go wrong? On a distant shore, Koko's brothers Karao and Masato face off. Masato blames Karao for poisoning their father and brother. Karao snaps back in denial. Masato calls killing family the ultimate sin. His brother draws his blade, forced to strike. Blade drawn, the brother sneers, "You cut me down." The crybaby who needed his sister as protection is talking big. Koko stands firm, echoing her past. "I am not that person anymore." She stares him down. "Explain yourself, brother." His face hardens. No excuses. He's ready to kill his siblings, and Koko accepts the lifelong weight of murdering his own brother. Talks over facing off on the cliff, it's time to settle this. They charge with a final roar, clashing steel to settle the score fair and square. The party hits Gabildia's home on Ishigu Island. The retainers are stunned Lady Koko is back. Koko invites her friends along, admitting they're her biggest comfort. An old attendant welcomes her home and leads her straight to the master. They enter a dim room to find a frail man in bed, who scolds them for barging in. "Father! I am back!" Koko shouts. He scans the group, his gaze locking onto the black-haired boy. "Koko, you brought an interesting one," her father rasps, eyes gleaming. "I sense insane power." Suddenly, he's cut short, hacking up a mouthful of blood. Koko screams, ordering Milo to use his elven healing magic. Ma Alo starts her check and finds something chilling. Multiple high-level healing spells were already cast, but they did absolutely nothing. She spots a stoic, masked priest in the corner. Powerful rituals were cast, but he's still barely clinging to life. A woman explains the high priest did his best, but the head and Sero are barely clinging to life and need total rest. Forced out, the group faces the grim reality. Koko grills an attendant about Lady Manaka's location after finding her father's room empty. The attendant reveals Lady Shuno put her mother under house arrest in another house. Koko rushes to her mom, horrified by the cruelty. Monica exposes the family's power struggle. Chuno is forcing Koreo into leadership, trashing tradition and splitting the fans. For opposing the infighting, Lady Manada was framed for poisoning her husband. Furious, Koko vows to clear her mom's name, but her mother knows Lady Chuno is just framing her to eliminate a nuisance. Koko desperately asks for her brother Kuro, missing since the incident began. Right on cue, a blood-soaked Karao staggers into view. Koko's horrified by his state. Why return at a time like this? Kurao drops a bombshell. Masato ruined the family and caused his injuries. This truth finally clears their mother's name. He warns Ryoichi to grab Koko and her mom and flee the island now. Koko collapses, shocked her honest brother committed these atrocities. Through the grief, Ryoi senses a hostile presence and the stench of blood. Two girls lunge from the shadows, blades out, blaming him for Lady Koko's tears. Sudden attack. Ryoichi effortlessly parries their team assault. They're skilled, but he reads every move. Refusing to cause harm, he finds another way. He whips up a tornado, disarming and dropping the thugs without a scratch. Mom arrives and apologizes for her daughter's reckless behavior. The twins bow, apologizing for attacking Lady Koko's guest. Ryoichi watches the identical pair, amazed by their resemblance and his own massive power growth. Inspired by his strength, Koko vows to find her brother Kuro. Guards block her path. Lady Chuno's orders, she's confined to the annex. Koko's stunned, she's a prisoner in her own home. Back home, things spiral. They retrapped. Maolo confirms it's no curse the patriarch is in a coma that even healing magic can't break. Out of options, Ryoichi turns to his advanced magic tool. Mikan can run a full diagnosis, but it needs the medical expansion module installed. The map highlights Hachigu Island's ruins as the closest source for the component. Ryoichi sets a new mission head to Hachigu Island and find a cure for Koko's family. It's a long shot, but he's betting on the hidden power of Mikchan's ancient tech. His grit shatters Koko's despair, giving her a new purpose. She looks up, declaring his team her final hope. Hope's party hits the ruins of a fortress guarded by stone beasts. Mikan scans the site. It's an ancient mining facility. The real facility isn't here. It's hidden deep in the island's mountains. The device exposes a secret lab housing expansion modules and maybe even Mikchan's artificial body. Mikan says the med kit needs more memory, and that requires a physical body. Mission's clear: find the secret facility and grab the body to save Koko's family from collapse. The armored beast smashes the final barrier, ripping into the ruins. Seats are gone to cram everyone in, taking him back to when it was just the two of them mining magic ore. Friends and familiars are now packed into a magic machine far beyond the capital's tech. The Triangular Magitech Company. He's stunned the ancient trade association still exists. They burst into a massive dark tunnel, the impact echoing through the void. They found a massive mountain lab, but it's eerily silent. No power or magic despite its huge scale. AI scans the layout and finds a magic generator on B3, Target 1 locked in. They head down the dark stairs, lanterns flickering. Tension is high, danger could strike from the shadows at any second. A teammate wonders why this place is rotting while the parent company thrives in the capital. Modern Triangular Magitech is a shell of its past, now just a trade group selling ruined junk they can't even fix. They hit the third basement, and the ancient tech mystery deepens. The emergency magic generator sits before them, silent and complex. Ryoichi brags he's a repair pro and dives in with a company manual, despite Mikchan's warning that the damaged wiring makes the generator dangerous. He strips the parts, swaps the broken piece for a spare, and stays laser-focused. Everyone watches in awe as he masters complex magic tools with ease. The generator roars to life. A voice echoes. Initialization complete. Admin confirmed. System rebooting. Magic's back and the lights are on. Ryoichi takes admin control, killing security. They sprint to the fourth-floor vault, praying the meds are still there. They hit the Onyo product vault, a massive room where towering shelves of containers vanish into the dark. This pristine chamber is overflowing, making a manual search impossible. Her shortcuts sync with the stored humanoid and download the data directly. She leads them to a reinforced door guarding the android. Inside, a stasis pod holds a dormant female android. Ryoichi watches in shock as Michen's terminal starts syncing. His shocked crew wonders, is this beautiful android his next bride candidate? The android stands eerily still, as if she's waited years for this exact moment. Sync complete. Hiyori Onyomi wakes up, steps out, and immediately hugs Ryoichi, explaining she needs the physical contact to stabilize her systems. One touch and she's already scanned her master's full biometric data. A naked android appears, sending a flustered elf into a panic as he demands she cover up. Hiyori asks her master for an outfit choice, ready to replicate any design with her adaptive streetwear. She flashes through her memory's outfit's bunny suit, shrine maiden, and school uniform. The group's stunned, but the elf hates the lewd options. Far away, night falls on Ichigo Island's shores. Mimi and her bee-skin friend race through the thick woods. They drugged Mom for an easy escape, but they can get caught now. They track a bloody trail through the grass, a mix of their brother Korao and Masato. Kuro's soaked in blood and things look grim. They're sure the culprit Masato is also bleeding out. Mimi defends Masato, admitting he's flawed but swearing he's not evil. At the Gabbertius estate, Mom's stunned to see Kuro already moving after his near-fatal injuries. Kurao drops the grim news. Masato's already dead. No capture needed. His own cursed blade, Sasafun, took his arm and his life. The elders are floored. It's the legendary fourth Satokane, a sinister blade that brings ruin to its wielder. The mother blames the blade's curse for Masato-esque crimes, demanding his entire faction and defenders pay the price. Kurao warns that punishing a faction on suspicion alone will spark a deadly civil war. Mom agrees Lady Manaka is a powerhouse in Masato's faction and asks for his advice. Kurao acts fast exile Manaka and her daughters, but offer a deal so it looks like their choice. His face is blank. Is he protecting family or running his own scheme? Expansion kits installed. A med kit spawns, ready to grab. Ryoichi's the new owner. He questions the easy win, only to find the system was totally reset. The spirits dream of a massive feast, but Michin spots the reality centuries-old canned rations. Forget supplies, this place is packed with weapons, ammo, and a hangar full of magic-powered exosuits. Seeing the sight, a young spirit innocently asks Ryoichi what weapons are. The discovery is crushing. These war tools could challenge the world, and he can carry this burden alone. He and Michin agree this power is a corrupting threat that must never fall into the wrong hands. Ryoichi decides to seal the place, and Michin confirms she can restore the security. She deploys giant Shisa golems, combat exosuits, and heavy weapons, plus a self-destruct failsafe to incinerate the entire facility. Ryoichi's stunned by the insane proposal. Things are spiraling way past his plan. Lady Shuno makes a surprise midnight visit. An elder stops her, demanding to know why she's here since Mimi and Mimi haven't broken their taboo. Monica orders Koko to check the girls, but Chuno stops her. It's not necessary. Shuno drops the bombshell Masato is dead, leaving Koko frozen in shock. Chuno reveals Kurao exposed Masato for poisoning Lord Toshiaki. Since the Manakas shielded him, they're branded accomplices and disowned by the Gaberde. Disowned shatters Manaka, and she collapses in agony. Shuno watches her reaction and grants a special favor. Manaka is spared further punishment. Monica stands up crying, asking if Shuno even cares. Masato is dead. Shuno admits she's mourning, but her duty to the Toshiaki house comes first. Monica begs Shuno to stop. Toshiaki is still alive, so this isn't necessary yet. She begs for one last look. Chuno grants the mercy, but warns they're still prime suspects. Overwhelmed, Koko's losing her grip on reality. She rushes to Mimi and Mimi, only to find wooden logs in their empty beds. They're gone. Far from the estate, the girls explore a dark Ishigu Island cave. Mimi's terrified of ghosts, but her sister brushes her off. He pranks her with a monster meme, sending Mimi into a terrified scream. Mimi tries scaring him for payback, but Mimi isn't fazed, saying real monsters are way scarier than ghosts. She was right, a bloody monster lunges from the dark, claws shredding Mimi's flesh. A ship pulls into dock. Ryoichi's crew is back, hunting for Koko and the truth. Black-clad ninjas block their path, ordering the mainlanders off the island. Ryoichi stands firm, but the ninjas won't talk. One pulls a bomb. A flashbang pops, blinding the party in light and smoke. An assassin lunges through the haze, blade raised. "You remain," he snarls, as Ryoichi screams for his friends to run. Before the blade hits, Michin's kick sends the ninja flying. The attacker's stunned. How did she shrug off that blinding light? Ryoaki's guardian Mi steps up, staff ready to crush anyone who touches her master. She unleashes energy, binding the ninjas in crackling chains. Elsewhere, another assassin goes down. His calm opponent with a shoulder dragon admits the light blinded her, but her help wasn't needed. She checks the body. No life. They're just puppets, controlled by a shadow player in this family war. Toshiaki's clinging to life in the main house. The doctor warns tonight is the turning point, as a heartbroken Manaka watches over him. Shuno enters, tossing them a chest of gold as payment for their banishment. She calls it mercy, a chance to leave the island and start fresh. Manaka refuses, knowing it's just severance money. She swears loyalty to the Gabardias and Toshiaki. She won to be banished. Despite the abuse, she vows to clear Masato's name, shocking Kurao with her devotion. He tests her resolve, warning that for her style, banishment is a fate worse than death. A servant bursts in with grim news. Toshiaki's condition is crashing fast. The Lord hacks up blood, sparking total panic. A masked priest chants, weaving a spell over the dying man. Magic crackles in the air. An unseen attack from outside the room blasts priest. Mo levels her staff. Shuno calls her barbaric, but Mo calmly insists it wasn't an attack. Ryoichi enters, explaining Moa used holy water to nullify the priest's magic. Divine appraisal exposes the truth. The priest's staff is a decoy, hiding a lethal strike inside a fake heel. The priest's mask shatters as he dissolves into black dust, just like the soulless ninjas from the docks. The high priest is a revenant. With Michen's strength, Ryoichi vows to expose the conspiracy. Black Ore wraps the priest, twisting his body into a monster. "You've done it now." He lunges with a raspy snarl, a cursed elf. The elf screams for help, but Weirin intercepts, her blade clashing against its claws. She watches closely for a revenant. You've got serious brute strength. Realizing this foe is on a whole different level, Weirin gets serious. She closes her eyes and prays to Momos, the tailoring god, for the power she needs. Light explodes from her as she summons a sacred artifact. Her outfit transforms instantly as she summons the divine needle sword, Rapier. The elf watches in awe as Weirin reveals his trump card, a divine power reserved for the gods chosen. This power won to last Weirin locks onto her target one strike to end it all. She unleashes Crimson Virtue Law, first form, skewering the Revenant's chest in a spray of black blood, while Masato gapes at the sacred artifact's raw power. The elf screams murderer, but Weirin reveals her blade kills instantly. One scratch means death. She had no choice. Suddenly, the doors burst open. A woman and her guards point. "What did you do to the high priest?" "Arrest that mainlander." Surrounded, katanas drawn, escape cut off. Masato tries to stop the fight, but wait. That priest is a revenant here to rescue the master. Lady Chuho shuts him down. The high priest is the real enemy. You saw that cursed form? Why still trust him? He's no revenant. It's all a lie. She turns to Brother Quarao, demanding intel on the high priest. Quarao met the man at Revenant Hill and unknowingly invited him home. Suddenly, Koko interrupts, desperate to treat the master's critical condition. Chuho blocks their path, refusing to trust an outsider with Toshiaki's life, until a screen door is suddenly kicked off its frame. A scarred, one-armed warrior steps in, glaring at Lady Chuho. "Still noisy, hag," he growls, blaming her for bringing in the suspicious outsider. The family's stunned it's Masato. He ignores their shock, ordering them to forget everything and save his father. Dressed as a nurse, the tiny golem starts the exam. The diagnosis is instant magic shock. She finds him drained by a relentless outside magic attack. Masato's fears are confirmed. The high priest did this. The golem reveals it's an ancient curse that outlives its master. She can stop death, but it takes massive mana. She turns a dispel formula into ancient magic and picks Lady Malo to cast it. Energy surges as he casts dispel. Lord Toshiaki stirs, eyes fluttering open as the weight finally lifts. His kids scream his name, relieved. Guards erupt, hailing his awakening as a miracle. The golem confirms the success but warns of the cost, then calls the eldest brother, Seiro, next. Another dispel blast echoes from the next room. Seiro wakes up, the agony of being eaten alive finally gone. He pulls Mikako close to reassure her. He spots Koko and her crew, asking who they are. Tearing up, Koko calls them true friends who risked everything for her family. Masato glares at Lady Chuho, unyielding. "Stop standing around, mother. Get on your knees and apologize to Koko and her crew." She stares, realizing he's alive. He recounts losing an arm and falling off a cliff into the sea, but he survived. Expecting revenge, she accepts her fate. "Kill me quickly. If it's you, I have no regrets." Her meekness throws him. "What are you saying? I don't kill women," he scoffs. Tearing up, she whispers, "I'm glad you were alive." Masato's not done. Turning away, he declares. It's not over if she's gonna bow. She better thank them first. He glares at Quarao, the man who brought the revenant home. The warrior and his masked squad stand ready, tension at a breaking point. Eyes shut in prayer, he stands alone, begging for mercy for what he's about to do. Inside the estate, Jinjuru confronts Masato, vowing to finally settle his debt. Before blades clash again, a young voice screams for them to stop. Jinjuru shuts them down, claiming the war isn't over. He points to his missing arm. Proof the real mastermind is still out there. He reveals the blade that dismembered him was Sasafuni, a razor-sharp cursed phantom sword, leaving the crowd in total shock. Jinjuru levels his blade at Kurao, exposing his brother for killing their father and framing him for the murder. Masato's team watches in shock as the plan crumbles. He can't believe his ancient magic failed. Kurao snaps, face twisting in fury as he glares at the outsiders for ruining his scheme. He lunges, but Jinjuru intercepts, blades shrieking. "Eyes on me," Jinjuru taunts. "I am your opponent." Their impact shakes the courtyard. Mid-fight, Kurao regrets hesitating. He missed a lethal strike earlier, but now he's severing that weakness for good. He shifts into a strange stance, and Jinjiro's eyes widen in alarm. Kurao locks in, ready to unleash his secret deadly move. He shouts the name Kurenryu's secret technique, Violet Lightning Lotus Slash. A blinding strike blasts Jinjiro back, blood erupting from his chest. Jinjuru staggers, realizing his brother is a different man. Losing that arm was no fluke. The shockwave rips across the land, making the nearby river erupt. Standing over his brother, Kurao calls the fight Jinjiru's broken sword marks his end. Flashback to young Koko facing Kuro on the training grounds. "Wake up, Kuro. Why are you doing this? You were so gentle when we were kids." Kurao snapped that a sword prodigy like her could never understand. In their merit-obsessed family, he was always alone. He knew they hated her special treatment and saw him as a weakling. Koko finds Kurao's research trashed. He warns her away, but she refuses, offering to spar and prep him for the Gozen Shi-ai. Kurao remembers his father's coldness, always the pathetic failure compared to his elite brothers. From that day, he and Koko trained in secret, his happiest memory. Gozen Shi-ai Day Kurao defies the odds, crushing a massive, high-ranked foe. His first victory was also his first kill. His mom called it a freak accident, but crushed by guilt, he visited the opponent's family. He finds them in crushing poverty, their only son dead after a rigged match. Rumors spread that Lord Chuno bribed officials for his useless son's win. True or not, the scandal shattered him. Sick of being weak and talentless, he turned to forbidden power. His research led to the Hill of the Departed, where a dark entity crushed him but spared his life for a deal. It grants insane power, but the price is deadly. Koko realizes the truth. Shiga seized the estate to sacrifice the Gaberdia family. Kurao confirms her fears with a dark aura. It's already too late. He reveals the undead army has surrounded the estate, ready to strike. He severs his ties to become a demon of war, whether she's controlled or turned. Kurao strikes at Koko, but Masato dives in and takes the full force of the blade. Coughing blood, Masato grabs Kurao, demanding why he lied about protecting Koko. Kurao stays cold. He's severing his past for ultimate power. Masato yells, "No, kill Koko," and there's no turning back. Badly wounded, he staggers up to shield the siblings. Koko's not dying. "You're fighting me." Blood-soaked warriors clash atop a ruined estate under the full moon. The building shatters into ruins. The crowd watches in horror as a wounded Masato refuses to quit, stunned that the mainlander Kurao is actually matching their elite swordsman. Steel rings through the night as the warriors trade a flurry of blows. Kurao blocks the blow but takes a deep gash to the arm. A voice screams a warning. The Kurenryu's one-hit kill is lethal. Ryoichi can heal, but he's not immortal, and up close, that instant kill move is suicide. Ryoichi ignores the warning, betting his god-tier regeneration gives him the edge. He unleashes his secret art god-tier clones. Clones materialize and leap, axes raised high to shock his opponent. Clones strike in sync, triggering a massive blast. Through the dust, a voice asks, "Did we get him?" Dust settles, revealing the swordsman on a nearby roof completely unscathed. The girl's stunned Sasafuni just erased the wind magic. Impressed, the swordsman vows to strike back in kind. Impressed, he charges forward and unleashes his own version. Shadow clones instantly surround Ryoichi. Ryoichi's stunned his foe is using the same technique. He realizes these aren't just afterimages, their speed is insane. Before he can react, a clone slices through his torso, spraying blood. His friends scream his name in horror. A calm voice cuts in, interrupting a duel is rude, and the fight isn't over yet. Another hit lands. Ryoichi grits his teeth. These clones are solid. Fine, he'll just cut them all down. The assault is too fast. Distance is now a disadvantage as Ryoichi's clones get picked off one by one. The swordsman is unstoppable. Ryoichi spots the real one and screams for his team to run. The swordsman's wind blast traps Ryoichi, cutting off his escape. The strike lands, severing Ryoichi's leg at the knee. He drops, paralyzed by the shock. He fights for focus, needing divine power to heal fast. The swordsman nears his fallen foe, noting the real body heals faster. He recognizes this clone trick from the Dragon Slayer. His leader will be pleased. "Who is this?" Ryoichi demands. The swordsman answers. "Beings who surpass even the gods. Saints, the ones seeking revenge against the gods themselves." He reveals their world remaking plan is already moving, and House Gibbertius is just the first step. Ryoichi snaps, "Are you kidding? You sacrificed your family and tortured Koko for a demon lord?" His leg regrows mid-speech, stunning the swordsman. Ryoichi claims the gods gave him this regeneration to protect what's precious from monsters like you. He insists it's a gift from the gods. Ryoichi charges for the win, but his enemy doesn't even blink. Ryoichi freezes as a blade pierces his chest. He stares down in shock, consciousness fading fast. The phantom blade. Sasafun is buried in his heart. Opposite him, the swordsman grips his blade after one devastating thrust. The swordsman reveals his own telekinesis. "Your regeneration is useless. One thrust to the heart is an instant kill." Ryoichi hits the dirt face first, lifeless. His friends watch helplessly, screaming his name. Elsewhere, an elf girl weeps for her missing friends. Her stoic partner watches. McKinnon admits her failure, wishing she'd acted sooner. The victor looms over the body, dismissing the failure. He raises his blade to claim Ryoichi's head and resurrect him as a loyal undead servant. But he's cut off. Two kids pop up, blocking him from the prize. They aren't alone, an army of allies rallies behind them. The swordsman scoffs. "What's the plan? He's already dead. Think I want to kill a kid?" Clutching fierce monsters, the kids stand firm. "You want to touch!" Ryoshini again. One girl shouts with resolve. "Now I'm a mad!" Horrified by the duel, the young warrior charges in to stop the fight before it's too late. She closes the gap, but a massive blast of wind stops her cold. Two kids unleash a violent storm, blasting the fighters apart. The warrior stares, paralyzed by this insane power. A witness watches in horror as raw spirit power consumes the kids, forcing them to transform. They've reached perfect harmony, unlocking the legendary spirit-human unity. It's an impossible feat. Your heart and spirit must become one. Uniting, the kids halt the storm and forge a massive energy vortex. She underestimated them. Gritting her teeth, she slices through the gale. She sees their skill, but zero combat experience leaves them defenseless. They're locked in. They'll protect Ryoichi, whatever the cost. She lunges for the kill, but a voice screams to save her brother. Blade raised, the warrior warns the kids to move if they value their lives. Before the strike lands, Koko leaps in, clashing blades with Kirao. She's here to kill him herself and take responsibility for his failures. A faint voice cries out, begging them to stop. Bleeding out, Ryoichi watches siblings fight to the death. He wakes up to a spirit explaining his survival. His body formed a spirit gate, letting the blade phase harmlessly through his spirit realm. Relieved the kids are safe, Ryoichi curses himself for fainting. He stares down Kirao, asking if his sister Koko isn't also irreplaceable family. Kirao scoffs, claiming he's cut all ties to become a killer. Ryoichi stands, axe ready, calling it total nonsense. They charge again, weapons colliding with a thunderous boom. The spirit warns Ryoichi Kuro is faster and more skilled. Close the gap and go all out. Kuro's stunned Ryoichi's physical and magical power have surged. Sensing the threat, he moves to end this before his enemy grows stronger. He drops a secret move, shredding the battlefield with a storm of slashes. The blast levels the area as Koko screams Ryoichi's name in despair. Kirao stands in the ruins, certain his ultimate attack left no survivors. From the dust, a wind spirit rises, stronger than ever. Ryoichi stands reborn, aura surging as he finally masters the children's spirit-human unity. Energy surges through him as his spirit fuses with his body in a desperate bid to save him. Korao calls the bluff and lunges. Ryoichi effortlessly tanks the strike, his spirit-infused arm clashing against the blade. Kuro's stunned by that impossible speed. Enemy power nullified, Ryoichi claims the cursed Sasafune. Declaring the fight over, he lands the final blow. Under the moon, Ryoichi stands victorious among the wreckage. Broken and beaten, Kurao demands to know why he was spared. Ryoichi saw Kiru hesitate to kill his sister, proof he's still human. Kurao mocks Ryoichi, returns the cursed blade, and admits the legend is real. He puts the blade to his throat to end it all. Koko lunges, slapping the blade from his hand. Tearfully, she slams his selfishness, demanding he live to atone for his sins. She explains Ryoichi didn't kill him. He killed the demon inside, bringing her brother back. Kurao calls Ryoichi an outsider one last time, admitting he can hurt his sister. Kneeling before Koko, he finally admits total defeat. Inside the Gabardus estate, the family passes judgment. Corinth's fate is sealed. Attempted murder and conspiracy mean no mercy. He's headed straight to the magistrate for judgment. Ryoichi shocks the assembly, stopping the execution and claiming only he has the right to kill Kuroni. He takes the blame, admitting he's the one who twisted Kuroni's skills into a lethal obsession. The patriarch weighs Kuron's insane power. If used for good, he'd be the rightful heir. The real threat undead invaders are fueling wars to crush the Gabertius clan and seize their estate. Danger as over compound security locks down. A Rancor Orien bark arrives to help, and everyone's finally breathing easy. But something's wrong. The High Monk's body is missing from the pile of dead. Everyone was glued to Raiwaichi and Kuro's duel, but now they were wondering where are the rest of the undead. Ninjas dissolved into black mist, but the High Monk was different, a monster beyond life and death. The undead monk scans the estate, sensing something's wrong. His army is ready, but he halts the attack. More chaos would only ruin the land of the dead's future. Disappointed, Kurao couldn't even kill himself. The monk reveals his shadow organization controls world leaders. With the plan failed and the land worthless, he orders a full retreat. Inside the estate, Ryoichi and his crew are comatose, recovering from the massive strain of trance magic. Allies stand guard as they rest, but the summoners collapse from mana exhaustion. A caretaker blocks another from kissing the unconscious Ryoichi. The High Monk just returned from the dead. He's a unique immortal undead, and these ninjas are just his puppets. The boss is horrified the trail ends at the port, and the enemies already escaped the island. Corden stays silent in his cell, loyalty unknown. His father vows to save him, trading the family's honor for Kuro's shot at redemption. He rallies his family, blaming weak bonds for the chaos. They must unite now, the undead are coming back. Ryoichi awakens to find Mahalo collapsed on the floor. That trash military ration drained her mana instead of refilling it. Ryoichi whips up Oshiruko, a sweet treat from his world, to help her heal. This sweet meal lifts everyone's spirits. Even Koko's skeptical brothers are sold on the flavor. Even the family heads are blown away by his cooking. Seizing her chance, the matriarch demands Ryoichi name the wedding date. Koko's mortified, but her mom's thrilled. Her sword-obsessed daughter finally found a man. Her dad laughs, boasting his future son-in-law will found a new martial arts school. Fully accepted, Ryoichi receives the Gabertia family treasure, the sword Hauga. Ryoichi feels unworthy, but Koko insists he take the gift, sensing he'll need its power against the powerful enemies coming his way. Goodwill Ambassador Lord Sugatani suddenly crashes the moment. The news is dire. The undead are spreading. Foreign leaders are now puppets, and the land of the dead is launching a global invasion. He offers a deal spill the invasion secrets to cut Kuromi's sentence. Kurao rejects freedom, revealing he's already half undead. If executed, he'll become the undead king's puppet, forced to commit horrific atrocities. In prison, his family's voices helped him reclaim his heart from the king's grasp. Fragile victory, but it's enough. Koko reaches out, telling him it's not too late, he's finally back. Determined, Quaron asks Ryoichi to protect his sister. He accepts the deal, betraying his master. One chilling question: which country is the undead king invading? The truth is out, a threat targets their comrades' home, the Centria Sylvan kingdom of the elves. Their ship docks at Ichigo Island. The journey begins. Map out, the group plots their course for the Centria Sylvan kingdom. Far from the Kokonatsu archipelago, it's in the northeast, past the Karaslia kingdom. Ryoichi's warned his country is in peril, but Mahalo's only thinking about meeting her family to finalize their marriage. Don T. worry the sacred forest shields, Centria Sylvan. For generations, elite elven warriors and the Karaslia kingdom have teamed up to crush the undead hordes. Iki to heal first. Relieved the kingdom's military is joining the fight. Let's go with. An elder tells Ryoiki to heal up. Relieved the kingdoms. Later, Mahalo stands alone on the deck, a single tear falling as she gazes out at the starlit sea. McKin detects the distress, but Milo brushes it off, demanding her breakdown stay a secret. She shares her favorite childhood legend with Mech and Dorado, the hero who saved the Elven Kingdom from the Demon King. Milo reveals her research proved the myth was real, a historical figure with insane powers and artifacts. She finally reveals her secret. Ryoichi might be the legendary hero reborn. Her friend sees a lucky sign for Ryoichi, but Malo is terrified of what happens next. Under the full moon, she stops, dismissing the legend as a historian's lie. They finally dock at Cookrell Port. Officials meet them and split the group, sending everyone straight to the Sylvan Kingdom's capital. The map sends them north past Mount Aorai toward their first stop, Randall. On the long carriage ride, Ryoichi thanks Mahalo for her guidance. Randall looms ahead, a massive city with a castle carved into the mountain. Walking the lively streets, they pass Randall's castle, but a massive ornate temple steals the spotlight. Maolo reveals it's the Temple of Savoth, the supreme god. The temple looks breathtaking. The massive, majestic halls leave the group in total awe. Malo explains Savoth rules all magic, and her goddess Undial is connected. She joins the worshippers to pray for his blessing. The priest raises his staff, bathing them in divine light. Warmth fills Ryoichi's group. Carries stunned a supreme. God's blessing is a once-in-a-century miracle. Even non-humans got the god gift. Michin's scan reveals a mysterious force field now lives inside her. Malo realizes the supreme god is guiding them, and the priest confirms it. Priest Mike Alias drops a bombshell. Supreme god Savath has manifested and is waiting. He leads the stunned group into a blinding light toward a divine silhouette. They aren't facing one god, it's the entire assembly. This divine pressure is crushing. Maolo collapses in shock, spotting her god Undial among the pantheon and the supreme god. Others bow as a winged goddess greets Ryoichi, calling him a transmigrant friend and telling him to relax. His friends gape at the reveal. The goddess says Ryoichi's team is trustworthy and must know the truth to face what's coming. Ryoichi accepts, relieved to finally tell his friends himself. Supreme God Odison reveals the truth. Another transmigrant named Dorado was summoned 500 years ago, and he's from Ryoichi's own era. He saved the Elf Kingdom, but the Demon King's curse rotted his mind. Driven mad, he slaughtered his wife and comrades before taking his own life in despair. Death wasn't the end. Resurrected as an undead, Dorado turned his kingdom into a nation of the dead and crowned himself king. Ryoichi finally knows the true threat. Endless war kept a shaky peace, but the undead king's hatred is locked on the Sylvan Kingdom. Dorado's power surged. He's secretly turning world leaders into undead puppets to swell his army. This breaks the cycle of life and death. But since another god summoned Dorado, divine laws forbid direct interference. They need Ryoichi. As a fellow transmigrant, he must take down King Dorado and end his rampage. Ryoichi doubts he can win, and the goddess agrees his foe is an immortal with 500 years of experience. She reminds him of his power. Divine adaptation makes him immune to Dorado's curses, and divine regeneration makes him unkillable. She praises his insane growth, shocked he's still kept his gentle heart. Time's running out. Every conquest fuels Dorado's power. They have to strike now. Ryoichi's resolve hardens. He'll protect his friend's home. Mission accepted. They promise limited support and send him off. Audience over. The crushing pressure leaves Ryoichi breathless. Mayalo's stunned. She stood before the gods as a mere escort, not a priestess. Suddenly, her goddess Undial manifests, and, for escorting the VIP, the goddess gifts her a special ring and tells her to keep grinding. Milo grabs the ring and bolts, her mind reeling. Next, woodcraft god Yosuke confronts Ryoichi. Ryoichi stammers his thanks, admitting Yasuke's blessing is the only reason he survived. Jess warns Ryoichi his axe has limits, suggesting a sword axe for the battles ahead. Back home, wind spirit Sylphina appears, drawn to Ryoichi's insane power. His blessing makes him the first human to ever catch her eye. She targets Lily next, naming her the next great spirit candidate and vowing to spoil her, terrifying the cat. Two distant gods watch, wondering why everyone's so obsessed with this transmigrant. Back at the inn, Ryoichi's wiped from his divine encounters. They sit for dinner, but Mahalo is still missing. His crew hears his backstory, and suddenly his insane power finally clicks. They remember Astorimolo's favorite hero, Dorado, and how transmigrants are hailed as divine legends. Worried, Ryoichi and Mikan hunt for her. They find her at a hidden lake clutching the Undial ring. She recognizes it from the legends, the Ring of Pure Water, a divine relic with godlike power. She's reflecting on her insane journey when Ryoichi calls her name. Tracking her wrist device, he finds her, admitting he feared the worst after seeing her clothes folded by the water. Startled, she claims she's just calming her nerves after today's bombshells. Ryoichi sits down, admitting he's been worried about her recent struggles. Milo finally spills the truth. The hero Dorado, her land's greatest threat, is a transmigrant. Blinded by the hero's legend, she ignores the dark truth and confesses her love to Ryoichi. Tearfully, she begs him to save the elves, but makes him promise Dawn to become like Dorado. Stay exactly as you are. Staring her down, Ryoichi makes his vow. He'll protect her home, and he's not changing. Inside his dark fortress, the undead king gets word. A subordinate reports Kokonatsu's swordsman just took down Agent Kurao. Dorado's unfazed. He liked the swordsman's spirit, so he didn't turn him fully undead. He shrugs off warnings that Kurao resisted brainwashing and is leaking secrets. He claims everyone he crushes eventually chooses to worship him. One deserter is nothing. "We were declaring war anyway," the king booms. "No more secrets." He brands his kingdom a sanctuary for the persecuted and vengeful undead. First target the Elven Kingdom. Charislaya and the Marlin Empire fall, letting him seize the ancient Magitech weapons from the ruins. Once the world falls, he and his undead army hunt their final enemy, the gods. They reach the base of Mount Haurai, the sacred gateway to the Tree Nation. Sword. Saint Mikanata protects this land with the divine blade Kazuchi. As a sword saint, he represents the sword god himself. Train. Get blessed. Then become a sword saint to bless others, the ultimate honor. Ryoichi grips Hauga, the first saint's relic, reflecting on this legacy. His friend praises his growth, but he still feels like a scrub unworthy of this weapon. He credits his growth to a special gift, but after Kurao's tragedy, he fears his strength is just a liability to his friends. "Wait," the original says. Gripped by fear, Koko makes a tough call. She's training solo. As the wagon pulls away, separating her from the group, a young member breaks down. They reassure her Koko promised to return stronger after training with the legendary sword saint. Koko watches them leave, her resolve hardening. She silently apologizes for her selfishness, refusing to lose anyone else like her brother. Losing to the king of the dead isn't an option. She scales the sacred mountain to claim the sword god's blessing and avenge her disgraced brother. The others press on. They reach Rias, capital of the centriest tree nation, a bustling city circling a massive tree. Ryoichi's struck by the peace, a sharp contrast to the looming war. Relieved the city's spared, Mahalo immediately demands a taste of home. A massive feast awaits them. Malo recalls this diner as her go-to stress-eating spot whenever the high priest scolded her. She lists her past mistakes, fearing a brutal punishment when she returns home. A calm voice calls her name. Her mentor, High Priest Torka, finds her in the restaurant. Mialo's mortified to be caught, but Torka reveals it's her favorite spot too. The High Priest is relieved Malo's well-fed, she's even gained weight. Torka targets Malo's companions next. Ryoichi introduces himself, then Torka reveals she's the town's High Priest. She locks onto Ryoichi, eyes flashing with recognition. His kind aura reminds her of someone from her past. A friend cuts her off, claiming Ryoichi is her lover. Torka's shocked Mahalo likes guys, but Ryoichi shuts it down fast. The high priest smiles, proud her student finally found real friends. Torka brings up Malo's old partner Mira and his pilgrimage. She mentions Randall, where gods recently appeared with divine revelations. The group is clueless, and Milo's visibly panicking. Torka catches Malo sweating as a teammate spots his purity ring. Torka's stunned Malo is the legendary priestess from the rumors. Rattled, Torka accidentally leaks her true age 500 years. Ryoichi's blown away by her insane high elf lifespan. Turkey, Torka reveals she's not immortal. Her sister died centuries ago. Torka pivots, asking Ryoichi point-blank if his homeland is Nihon. Ryoichi's stunned she knows the name Japan. Torka served the hero Dorado, who killed the Demon King 500 years ago. He was also from Nihon. The news leaves the whole party speechless. The high priest saw Dorado's tragic fall firsthand, a truth that weighs heavy on them. Ryoichi looks exactly like the Undead King, so why is Torka being so kind? Milo pushes forward, racing to check her home village. Morris Village is a remote outpost on the undead border, a vital defense point. They find a wooden village built into the forest. Elves welcome Myalo warmly. They look young, but radiate the aura of ancient warriors. Family and friends swarm her, she's clearly a star. The village celebrates her safe return and new crew. Ryoichi realizes these centuries-old villagers are anything but frail. Milo warns him not to underestimate these active warriors. She greets her father, Chief Paro, who looks more like an older brother than a parent. Malo introduces Ryoichi as someone very dear. Paro officially welcomes the squad. He pulls Ryowaki aside. The women watch in dread as the men head out. Paro leads Ryowaki to Asana to drop the titles and talk straight. He cuts straight to it, sizing up his future son-in-law. Ryoichi denies it, but Paro senses his divine blessing and spirit contract. Paro's warrior instincts warn him a massive undead invasion is coming. He begs Ryoichi for help in the next battle. Across the village, the women hit the sauna too. Malo's mom Marina greets them, looking shockingly young. Marina explains elven growth is unpredictable and leads them to the women's sauna. The searing heat shocks their systems. Then, a jarring, icy shock. This mirrors Koko's brutal training, sparking worry for their absent friend. They insist Koko's strong enough to survive. On the sacred mountain, Koko's training turns lethal as she battles a monstrous beast. Bloodied and broken, she charges, dropping her foe in one final strike. Trial cleared. She faces a massive torii gate. Masked attendants announce her to the Sword Saint. Inside the shrine sits Mikanata, a current Sword Saint. Mikanata senses Koko's resolve and challenges the exhausted warrior to prove she's the ultimate sword master. A grim omen haunts the elf nation, shattering their treetop peace. Leaders plot their defense as an undead invasion looms. Princess Milo hears the news and charges home with her crew to save the kingdom. A divine revelation warns the world's fate hangs on this battle. Ma'alo grips Lady Undial's ring, vowing to protect everyone against impossible odds. Tearfully, an elder elf calls Malo a true warrior, ready to die on the battlefield without regret. Maolo objects if he falls, he'll rise as an undead monster. To prevent that, her friends join the fight. They're joined by A-ranker Catherine Oriembark and Ryoichi Ishikawa, the legendary slayer of the Melsar Island dragon. Ryoichi brings Mia, Moa, and Machika to support Maolo's magic. Mikan is just a nickname for Machika since her situation is complicated. Machika's in power surging, she vows to protect the village and lead the charge on the front lines. Commander tenses. He senses them. They're here. The signal drops. The undead are here. He orders his forces to take positions and intercept. The command rings from the walls, archers, spirit mages, fire. Enchanted arrows and magic rain down on the approaching horde. The undead army charges forward, unfazed by the first strike as they march through the storm of projectiles. They hit the walls and blitz the ladders. The order hold the fort at all costs. Catherine and Ryoichi shred the undead soldiers breaching the battlements. Up close, the battle-hardened elven army is unstoppable. Kill one, and another rises. The undead are endless Ryoichi struggles, admitting to Catherine he's not used to fighting things that look so human. Slaying humanoids haunts him, monster or not. He regrets not bringing weapons for deterrence. Malo steps up, swapping herself and Terran to the front. She tells Ryoichi she'll be fine. She heals fast. Taran insists he's a seasoned warrior despite his looks. Sensing a dark omen, the elven commander orders a retreat to heal. If they re-saving strength, this first wave was way too weak. The second wave hits a massive undead emerges, flanked by swift, four-legged monsters. A shadow looms as a rotting, corrupted dragon drops from the sky. Melsar Island's undead dragon has risen. Defenders panic as the colossal beast soars over the fortress. Ignoring the battle, it's locked onto the elven capital, Rias. The city inside the giant tree is now the main target. The dragon closes in with terrifying speed. It unhinges its maw, blasting necrotic flames. The breath attack slams into a hexagonal barrier, shielding the entire city. The Elf Queen is grateful Malo's warning saved the citizens and let the priests raise this massive shield. A dark, armored figure stands on the dragon knight Dylan. He scoffs at her barrier as the queen confronts him, reminding him the demon king destroyed her kingdom long ago. She reminds him of the hero he once was, but he snaps back the undead are monsters, and if they want a leader, he'll take the crown. Dylan admires the barrier's strength, then vows to shatter it from the inside. The queen watches in horror as the temple knights turn, eyes glowing. The undead have already infiltrated their ranks. She realizes breaking formation shatters the barrier. Dylan reveals they targeted their natural enemies, the elven priests, first. "Don't worry," he says as the dragon charges its breath. "You will be undead soon too." Before the dragon strikes, a silver flash cleaves its head off. A new army arrives. A human general stares down the stunned undead knight. General Gustav of Karazlia arrives, ordering his army to wipe out the undead and dragons while helping the elves crush the traitorous temple knights. Dylan stays dead calm, sneering at the army. He's got a trump card ready. He stares Gustav down with cold confidence. "Hear this, and you'll be forced to retreat." Back at the fortress, Ryoichi gets a desperate magic message. Kirika Ryoichi's stunned as she tearfully begs for his help. She relives the horror guard suddenly ambushed the royal children during a tea party in the capital. She's imprisoned with Prince Kirotos and Princess Small outmaneuvered by an overwhelming force. Their lives now hang by a thread. Aboard a dragon, a dark figure issues a lethal ultimatum. He's taken Princess Prinsky and Duchess Kirika hostage, demanding a total retreat, holding the royal family's lives. The knight screams for blood, refusing to forgive centuries of the kingdom's one-sided slaughter against the undead. The Dark Commander roars over the carnage, reminding them they never saw the undead as people or their nation as real. To him, princesses are just disposable tools like his own people. After all, the undead always come back. The knight screams in helpless rage at his enemy's cold, calculated cruelty. Locked away, Prince Kadatoris comforts Princess Small, trusting Dragon Slayer Sir Ryoichi Ishikawa to rescue them. The prince calls his title trash, wondering why anyone would die for the crown. But the princess clings to hope, and her mother's final gift, a small music box. A horned figure steps from the shadows, revealing he's the mastermind. He eyes the music box, calls it a rare magic tool, and demands she hand it over. Kirika shields her friend's memento, refusing to surrender. Miles away, Ryoichi's wrist beeps. He's found Kirika. Ryoichi and his ally reach the undead ruins of Castle Dorado, where Kirika is held captive. Capital help is too slow, so he calms his panicked Moa and vows to save her himself. He ignores his friends' protests and heads off to storm the castle solo. Ignoring their warnings, he charges forward and clashes with the first undead guard. He effortlessly vaults over the hulking beast. One fluid strike decapitates the guard in a spray of black ichor. His crew is stunned by his raw power. Mala thinks he's been holding back, but Carrie knows the truth. Ryoichi can't hold back. He treats every enemy as an He hasn't mastered his power yet. It just scales to match his opponent. Desperate, he sees the whole army as one giant target. They're just obstacles, and he's carving through them without hesitation. Fast, feral undead swarm his friends. Ryoichi gives the order. Michina locks in, modding her rod into a sniper rifle to eliminate the threat. Friends safe. Ryoichi thanks Machina as green leaf wings sprout, launching him skyward. The elves gape as he leaps through mid-air using wind magic. With the god's blessing, his power is now off the charts. He's practically flying, blurring toward the castle at impossible speeds. Malo apologizes for failing to stop Ryoichi, but his dad knows the boy's too stubborn to stay behind. Inspired, Malo asks his father for a war to follow. He's skipping the fortress for the capital, fearing the dragon attacking Rias will target High Priest Torka and the Mira Temple. The dragon's Melisar massacre fuels his fire. He won't let anyone else suffer that fate. His father is proud of his growth, but refuses the dangerous request. Carrie steps up as Malo's guard. She's got a score to settle with that dragon riding undead and won't let her prey escape. Forget warhorses. She's got a better way to travel her spirit companion, Willius. It's Kraken Chan, the pirate's old water spirit. Carrie erased its former master and claimed the contract for herself. The spirit warps the whole group instantly to the capital, Rios. Ryoichi drops silently onto the undead castle's ramparts. He's made it this far alone, but one mistake is fatal. He shadows across the rooftops. AI reports. Kirika's tracker is dead. Rescue is priority 1. Ryoichi hoods up and slips into the fortress. The horned sorcerer nears a locked cell as Kirika begs him to stop. He corners the chained princess, demanding her magic tool's secrets. She refuses, so he draws a blade, vowing to torture and raise her as an undead slave. Kirika screams in terror. A hooded figure flashes in Ryoichi, buries his blade deep into the sorcerer's back. The beast crumbles to dust in Ryoichi's arms as Kirika stares up in shocked gratitude. "Glad you are safe," he whispers. "I'm here to rescue you." He shatters her chains, and a relieved Kirika hugs him, warning that the other royals are still held nearby. Ryoichi spots a hallway crawling with guards. Time to bail and find a new way in. Darkness floods the room as the horned sorcerer teleports behind them, crackling with necrotic energy. "You messed me up earlier," he rasps. "Time for payback." He mocks their shock-high-rank undead respawn fast. Now shadow soldiers swarm from the darkness, surrounding them. They re-trapped. Ryoichi scoops Kirika up, telling her to hold on tight. The sorcerer scoffs, but Ryoichi unleashes a wind spirit spell to blast through their lines. A gale blasts the undead away. The sorcerer screams for his minions to seize the intruders. Ryoichi grabs Kirika and yells they're making a run for it. A magic surge blasts open the doors to the castle's inner throne room. An armored beast rises, roaring, "What's this noise? How is there a wind spirit caster in the castle?" The horned sorcerer bows to his master, apologizing for the intruder chaos. The master spots Ryoichi holding the girl. The boy looks familiar, but he brushes it off. Kidnapping royalty is a petty move, but it works. Facing the intruders with R-Raid at his back, the Dark Lord warns, "Cross that line and you're dust." The Dark Veer confronts Ishikawa, voice booming with ancient power. A fellow transmigrant. "What's your name?" Ishikawa says his name and the figure snaps. "Dante, you dare speak that name," he roars. "Are you King Dorado?" The king ditched that name long ago. He recognizes Ishikawa from the legends of his old world, the hero who saved it. They're both from the same place. He reveals his plan: turn humanity into an undead army to remake the world and finally challenge the gods. Ishikawa objects, reminding him the gods gave them power. Dorado softens, revealing his tragic past. He once saved an elven princess from a demon king and fell in love. The happy ending soured fast. After marrying and rebuilding the kingdom, he's constantly clashing with his former vassals. Senri begged for another path, exposing the High Elves' hateful exclusion and demanding a peaceful world for their unborn child. Dorado froze at the news. He remembered a god's warning. High Elves and humans can't have children. Face darkening, he cornered his wife, demanding to know who the father was. Senri's stunned. He knows she's pregnant and demands to know why she kept it secret. She swears the baby is his divine miracle, but doubt has taken root. Heartbroken, Dorado pushes her away. The wicked voice returns, revealing its true face. Not a god, but a dark deity allied with the demon king. Dorado just killed. The entity mocks him, calling transmigrants toys for its sick games. It poisons his mind with rumors, fueling his suspicion that his wife is cheating. The king changed. The once kind hero turned cold, now a total stranger to his people. Whispers of divorce gripped the court. threatening to reignite the kingdom's old faction wars. Dorado's paranoia locks onto Dylan, a high elf knight and Senri's lifelong servant. Senri corners him, demanding to know why he's hiding. She sought Dylan's advice, but rumors of their miracle child are spreading and she's out of options. She even suggested a grand pregnancy party to silence the rumors. The god twists her words into a betrayal, seizing the child's mind with one command: kill them all. His mind snapped. Dura slaughtered his wife in a blind rage as Dee cackled, declaring him one with despair. Going full power, the Mad King levels everything. The castle shatters as subjects flee in terror. The rampage left total ruin. Dust settles. Dorado stares at the carnage, horror finally hitting him. What have I done? He collapsed, clutching Senra's body as his screams echoed through the ruined kingdom. He blamed the wicked god, but the truth was darker. The rage and jealousy, that was all him. His world was now rubble and ash. Desperate to die, he tries to end it only to find he's immortal. His body heals against his will. Will stares at his hand, questioning his existence. Is he still alive or something else entirely? His former comrades rose as undead thralls, emerging from the shadows to vow loyalty to their broken master. Overnight, his paradise became a living hell. His victims are now puppets, their hollow praise haunting him with everything he lost. The gods took everything, even his death. Now he lives only for revenge. His story ends. To end his torment, he'll turn all life into undeath and slay the gods. Ishikawa's stunned by this malevolent god, while Dorado admits he hasn't talked this much in centuries. Dorado sees his former hero self in Ishikawa and invites him to join his dark crusade. Ishikawa refuses. He pities Dorado's past, but won't sacrifice innocence. Dorado's tone hardens. The offer is now a threat. Join me or die, Dorao declares. Fueled by vengeance, Ishikawa counters, activating his god-tier clone technique for the ultimate clash. He orders Lily to get Kirika and a clone to safety. Dorado's goons charge, but the real Ishikawa cuts them off, taking them head-on. Lily notes the clone is insanely strong and thinks for itself, powered by the chief god's blessing. Dorado's lieutenant targets the clone, closing in for the kill. The beast strikes fast, skewering both clones at once and mocking their pathetic power. The blow disintegrates the clones. Dorado watches regeneration. You're just like the undead, but you lack instant death resistance. Surrender or die and serve as the undead. Ishikawa refuses both. Shame to kill you, Dorado sighs, summoning a blade of screaming skulls. Now die. The undead king raises his weapon, ready to execute the hero blocking his vengeance. Centrius's magic barrier shatters under a great dragon's relentless assault. Elven lines shatter. Seeing her people fall, the High Priestess prepares the ultimate sacrifice. She unleashes her bloodline's forbidden peak magic, trading her life to save her home. Energy surges around her as her terrified attendants scream for her to stop. They claim she's essential, but Malo Dasins interrupts with a secret strategy from Lady Undial to replace this suicide mission. The High Priestess recognizes her, stunned by her sudden return and bold new confidence. Milo claims love made her stronger, catching her comrade off guard mid-chaos. Reunion is cut short. A horned, armored figure watches from afar, radiating malice. He's here for an old debt, targeting the priestesses as he prepares to strike. The dragon blasts fire, but a new warrior dives from the sky to intercept. One brutal strike beheads the beast as she lands before the horned undead. He recognizes her instantly. The Elven Knights recognize Lorien Bark's armor, but the woman wearing it is a total mystery. Ryoichi's busy saving the princesses, so she'll personally teach these captors a lesson. Warriors clash in a blur, blades ringing through the ruins. She notices his power spike, and he admits he was just faking. She compares him to dragons, but he scoffs. He's way beyond some mere beast. The fight explodes as steel slams into steel. The horned figure powers her up, bragging that only his master can kill the ultimate undead. A massive explosion rips through the undead castle. In the throne room, King Dorado surveys the carnage, admitting he overdid it. Ryoichi parries the hit, revealing Dorado was fighting a clone the whole time. Determined, Ryoichi vows to spawn as many clones as it takes to win. 2 more clones flank Dorado, skewering his chest and back. Ryoichi's sure he's finally pierced the king's heart. Dorado's unfazed, even amused. Not bad, he smirks, intrigued by the kid's effort. One swing obliterates both clones. He praises Ryoichi's skill but exposes a fatal flaw. Ryoichi's blade is real, but the clone's fakes expose the fraud. Dorado takes his turn, unleashing a devastating strike. Ryoichi's blade shatters, slamming him into a pillar, barely alive. Realizing he's outmatched, his only priority is escape. He's fading fast. The damage is too massive for his healing to keep up. Dorado looms, flexing his superior healing. He offers to end Ryoichi's pain by turning him undead. Before the king can react, a sacred white wolf spirit lunges with feral intensity. The beast sinks its teeth into Dorado's arm. Barely conscious, Ryoichi recognizes Saori's spirit. How is she even here? A fox-eared warrior emerges from the shadows to face the undead king, claiming her brother owes him a debt. Koko Youth Gaburdius arrives to reclaim her family's honor. With a new ally, the counterattack begins. Screaming, the warrior leaps, blade aimed at the dark figure in the ruins. The undead king laughs coldly. So you Karawa's sister. Welcome you've come a long way. Gesturing to the Folgers, she mocks his calm. I've already slaughtered your men to get here. The king shrugs. It doesn't matter. They'll all. Their blades collide, shattering the stone floor with explosive force. The king smirks under his helm. Your allies are my new pawns now. The more, the merrier. Today's a win. No, she snaps, today's your funeral. Her wolf lunges, a white blur of pure fury. The king eyes the new threat, sensing its power as the beast whips up a wind vortex. Spirits surge as she becomes one with her blade. She screams to the howling fang, demanding its power. They charge head-on for the final decisive showdown. She unleashes her ultimate Corinth style, Sakura loads flash. The strike lands, severing the king's arm in a spray of black blood, but he just smirks. Impressive. That move was too beautiful not to feel firsthand. She mocks his bravery after losing an arm, but the king just laughs. He hasn't lost anything he's gained. Baffled, she demands an explanation. Dark power animates the severed arm, lunging to grab her. She gasps. Gotcha, he gloats. Now you've just made way more enemies. He levels his massive blade at her throat. Daunty move. One slip and your neck snaps. Drop the sword and live. Defeated, her blade clangs against the stone. Wise choice, the king says, closing in. Like Kurao, you will be baptized into undeath while still alive. She cuts him off. King, do you remember? The king stops. He knows it. The fourth gen, Sasafune, an ominous, stunning jade blade. She presses on as the legend warns Sasafune's wielder is doomed to misfortune. Roaring, she reveals a second cursed blade. I'm returning this misfortune right now. She lunges, unleashing her second ultimate, the current style tandem slash. Steel flashes, the strike connects. The undead king's head rolls, ending his reign for good. Seeing Ryoichi stir, she sprints to her fallen comrade's side. She tells Ryoichi to stay calm, still worrying about others. They need to move. It's too dangerous here. She hauls him up, steadying his weight. This is no illusion, I'm here. The undead king is dead. She leads him toward the exit. They gotta move fast. Right on cue, the castle trembles, stone walls groaning under the strain. Deep in the dungeon, the shaking stops. The princess spots a crack and shouts, "Look, brother!" The quake broke the wall. Smash it, and we're free. Her brother hesitates, fearing the enemy, but the princess is firm. Stay in this cell and we're dead anyway. They smash through the wall into a glowing corridor. Is it another prison? The prince wonders if they're not alone. A soft voice calls from the light. A woman appears behind bars, pitying the child. Don't worry, she says. I'm a prisoner too. I won too. A sad elf steps forward. I'm Senri, she says. A useless undead who can't even attack humans, just a shadow of her former self. She's a prisoner, locked in a cell within her dead husband's decaying fortress. Trapped in the castle, the undead elf reveals her past as Senri, a girl discarded as useless because she couldn't fight. She's a prisoner, but her room is pure luxury, living in total comfort under the Lord's watchful eye. The Lord visited her chamber for rest. They rarely spoke, but the silence brought her a strange peace. He gifts her a music box. Overwhelmed with pure joy, she thanks him with all her heart. But she noticed a shift the more she cheered, the more the Lord's aura flared with pure rage. His fury wasn't for her, but a hidden enemy. He vanished, then sparked a massive war at. The battle intensified, his rage reaching her even in isolation. In her despair, the prince and princess finally appeared. Their arrival was a sign. She begged them to help her escape, not for freedom, but to save the Lord from himself. The prince hesitates. Why save someone loyal to the king who tortured them? Senri reveals her motive. Leaving betrays her duty, but ending the war and saving the Lord from his rage matters more. She loves him. The princess is stunned someone loves the undead king, but Senri shuts her up fast. Footsteps approach. She yells to hide, an undead caretaker is coming. Light cuts the dark as a boy and girl emerge. The royals breathe easy. Ryoichi and Kirika are safe. The princess introduces Ryoichi as Knight Ishikawa, and the prince thanks him for the rescue. Ryoichi accepts their thanks, and the princess finds him just as kind as he sounded over the magic tool. Their white cat screams a warning, alerting Ryoichi to an undead elf in the next cell. The princess steps in, insisting Sanri doesn't want to fight. Ryoichi reaches the cell door, but a powerful magic barrier seals the lock. His divine appraisal cracks the code, and the door swings open to reveal a noble S-chamber, not a prison. Ryoichi steps in and tells Senri the news his main body and team killed King Dorado. Senri's stunned. No way the Lord was supposed to be immortal. Suddenly, a mangled undead guard rises, swearing he wants to forgive them. Suddenly, the castle trembles and groans, the entire structure collapsing. Ancient walls and archways collapse. Ryoichi's ally begs him to flee the crumbling castle, but he won't abandon the hostages. Suddenly, a massive black blade slams into the earth between them. His friend recoils in terror. That's King Dorado's sword. A figure steps from the rubble, gripping the massive eye-covered blade. Back from the dead, Dorado laughs as an insane new power surges through him. Opponents are stunned he's back. Even Dorado admits he's shocked to be pushed this far. To make up for doubting them, he unleashes his cursed sword's true power, summoning dark energy spheres around the blade. Dark tendrils lash out at Ryoichi and his companion. The dark aura swallows them instantly. Sinister energy freezes Ryoichi with godlike force as Dorado reveals. He claimed this cursed artifact upon becoming undead. He's about to go all out, but Senri blocks him, begging him to retreat to his room as the castle collapses. Sensing the blade's dark aura, she warns him, "Keep using it and you'll lose your soul." The undead servant returns, brands Senri a traitor, and lunges. Dorado intervenes, scolding the servant for overstepping. With a wave, the king turns the undead to dust. In the chaos, the princess drops her music box. It hits the ground, pops open, and plays a soft melody. Senri recognizes the tune, softly singing a children's song. The music hits King Dorado. He freezes. The dark aura vanishes. His body moved to the music on instinct, so he orders them to keep playing. The princess admits the music box is broken, playing only a single verse. Injured, Ryoichi steps up, declaring he can fix it. He calls a temporary truce unreal. The resurrected king waits while the hero he just tried to kill repairs the music box. Stunned, the princess watches her grandma's old song stop a battle to the death. Click. Ryoichi finishes the repairs. The melody sings of a soldier becoming king. She tells Dorado it's his story together. They'll build their kingdom. The song sparks a memory. Young Scenery tells a man he'll be a great king, confessing her love for Shin. The name echoes, and the king's eyes widen. "Shin," he whispers. His past life floods back. "I remember now. That's my real name." The old May briefly flickers in the undead king's eyes. Ancient rage erupts from the cursed sword. "Damn you, Queen Senri!" it bellows. The king freezes. He knows this voice. It's haunted him for years. A grinning shadow of pure darkness erupts from him. The evil god has arrived. God's dark power surges, seizing total control to unleash ancient evil on the world. In dragon form, the demon lord mocks the three priests' fusion magic as a futile struggle before blasting them with searing flames. The blast slams the structure, instantly vaporizing the stone. A knight stares in shock as their fusion magic shatters. The demon lord mocks them, calling it a total waste of mana just to break his barrier. The priests collapse in the rubble, exhausted. They aren't built for combat, and they realize with horror that was no ordinary spell. Ma Alo recalls her lesson magic grants wishes, but only a genuine heart unlocks its full power. She remembers Dylan from 500 years ago. Now, he's the demon lord standing over the ruins. Wounded Dylan begs Queen Senri to flee while he stalls. She refuses, but he reveals he shares her healing magic and demands she survive. His final wish, the immortal high elf must live for them both. Dying here, by choice, he has no regrets. Maolo's stunned Dylan used forbidden power to protect her. Stealing herself, she counters with her own forbidden art. Holy Rain. As Holy Rain falls, she focuses her will to heal the monster's twisted soul. Sacred drops sear the beast, melting its corrupted body away. The allies are stunned. This rain heals their wounds, but for the undead, it's pure agony. A fighter sighs in relief, barely dodging death thanks to a clutch teleport. The demon lord's monster form shrinks. He clutches his head, fighting the corruption and wondering what he's become. Mala watches in tears as the spell takes full effect. Dissolving into light, Dylan gazes at her, whispering the rain feels like her tears, and she's grown truly beautiful. With those final words, his corrupted form vanishes. Undead gone, the truth hits Malo used a high priest's wish to mimic Sister Senri's legendary magic. It's the same forbidden magic Senri used centuries ago, sacrificing her life to seal the evil possessing King Dorado of Shin. The memory hits Dorado like a physical blow. Stunned, he whispers, "The scenery saved my life." Dark memories strike. The cursed sword mocks him, calling Senri a fool for wasting her life. The sword deals its cruelest blow, revealing it killed Senri's unborn baby Dorado's own child. Humans and high elves can't normally conceive, but Dorado's modified, transferred body made the impossible possible. Dorado's soul shatters. He screams in agony, realizing he destroyed everyone he ever loved. Consumed by desperate rage, he refuses to forgive the demon sword and lunges. The sword mocks him. They've fused. Break the blade, and Dorado dies. But he doesn't care, refusing to live a life granted by this foul creature. The king's body is rotten trash. Bored, the entity commands him to die and locks onto a new target. Ryoichi. King Dorado shields the boy in one final act of redemption. Ryoichi's stunned. "Why save me?" he asks, "after I tried to kill you so many times." Dorado looks back, his old self flickering. "You are my only countryman here," he says. "I can hate you." The entity senses a new power. A transfer. With Khan Ryoichi's blessing, you're the perfect new vessel. Dark energy blasts from the sword, skewering Raiwaki as he screams. Malevolent power swarms, consuming him whole. A blade strikes from the shadows, impaling him as his horrified friend watches. Ryoichi's remains transform into a dark-skinned, white-haired figure the evil god has fully descended. "Long time no see," he says. "Let's have some fun." One demands his body back, but the god scoffs, calling it a disposable eggshell. She argues Ryoichi's healing should have saved him, but the god figures the host just died. She screams, refusing to accept he's dead. Fueled by fury, Fun attacks, but the monster easily blocks, mocking her love for the fallen hero. The god sees she's already spent from her previous battles. He mocks them as a god. He never tires and heals instantly. Suddenly, a new challenger steps forward, determined evil god. "I'm your opponent." An ally warns her to stop, she's facing a god, and normal attacks are useless. The god scoffs. A fake. A mere scrap. He fires a dark blast to erase her. "Be gone." He's stunned, his attack is deflected. The god is stunned. Only the chosen wield divine weapons. So how does a clone have one? A white familiar appears with the truth. He's no clone. The creature reveals the scam. Dorado fought a clone armed with the real divine weapon to buy Ryoichi time. Even the gods were played. The evil god freezes. A fake fooled him. He roars in fury. Ryoichi rises, weapon ready. "You're the last one who should talk," he spits, sickened by their evil. He thanks the gods, admitting he couldn't win alone. Right on cue, powerful allies drop in. "Just in time," one shouts. Neosuke triggers divine descent, transforming his body into a god's with 0 energy drain. He readies his final blow, the god-given strike. The final battle with the evil god. Rages rocks the world. Ryoichi faces the dark entity's absolute power, but the god just scoffs. A divine artifact. Divine descent. Is that all? He snarls with pure rage. "Think you're my equal. Know your place, demigod." The god mocks Ryoichi's failed form, boasting his perfect descent as their powers clash in a blinding blast. Otiscun ends the fight. Fighting a demigod is a waste, so he'll steal your body to become whole. He threatens to slaughter everyone to break Ryoichi's spirit. Dark power builds a desperate warning screams. The attack is blocked. Shin, the undead. King steps in, revealing his own immortality to shut the evil god down. Otiscun sneers, ensnaring Shin in soul-tearing chains. "Die already," he mocks. But Shin tanks the pain, revealing his gambit by binding him. Otiscun trapped himself too. The god spots the trap. If Shin tanks the curse, Otis is wide open. Ryoichi seizes his chance, fusing his soul with Sylphina's artifact to unleash his true power. A spirit tiger materializes and they charge, Ryoichi unleashing one final massive spirit blast. The energy cyclone swallows the trapped god. The light fades. They did it. The chains vanish, but a sinister laugh echoes. The evil god grins, thanking them for finally breaking his shackles. Dread hits Ryoichi. They didn't win. They made a massive mistake. Otiscun reveals the chains were a prison, and now his true power is finally unleashed. A divine voice shatters the tension as a god descends. Breaking the shackles was no mistake. It allowed them to finally intervene. The evil god looks up, paralyzed with shock. Chief god Sivoth confronts the fallen deity, claiming he's hunted him since he vanished. Sivoth reveals Otiscun's 500-year seal left him weak and incomplete. Otiscun calls him a coward, but Sivoth warns at full power. Sivath reveals the god's rules changed during Otiscun's sentence, as golden chains suddenly materialize and bind him. Old punishment lifted, new sentence imposed. Savath gestures, sealing the verdict. Chains yank the screaming god up, doomed to divine execution. Sivath targets Shin. This vengeful transmigrant used godlike power to ruin humanity, and now he faces divine judgment. Shin's soul is being erased. His crimes are so dark, even an eternity in hell isn't enough. Judgment looms as Ryoichi steps forward, pleading with Lord Savath. He demands to finish his mission, kill King Dorado. With the evil god gone, he wants one last duel with the transmigrant. He's battered and broken, but his resolve. Free from Otiscun's taint, Shin accepts perfect. "I want the real Yushikawa too." Blades clash, ringing through the silent hall. Dorado's power is fading and his body's failing, but his skill is still a deadly threat. The crowd watches, stunned by their focus. They don't look like enemies, but brothers sparring, thrilled to finally face a worthy rival. The final blow lands dying. Shin tells Ryoichi he's finally ready to go, urging him not to mourn a monster. "Why so sad?" he whispers, voice fading. "You're a human. Become like me." Then, his body dissolves into light. Princess Senri's spirit appears, embracing Shin as they both vanish to the underworld, escaping divine judgment. Saving the world was enough to wipe the king's crimes clean. Even the chief oath gods are moved by Raiwaki's compassion, a power that softens divine hearts. The undead king falls, and his army implodes across the land. Torka reports the win, relaying Senri's spirit message one day. She and Shin will reincarnate and find happiness. Brother, Ryoichi's deeds are finally official in Kyle's Laya. The king names him an honorary baron. His low rank is a political cover. Kylithos credited the army to hide Ryoichi's demigod powers, protecting him from the danger of being discovered. Ryoichi finally reaches Is village. He finds it finally healing from the dragon's brutal attack. Villagers hail him as their new lord, rewarding his heroism with rule over the town. He feels unfit, but they reassure him the village is his home now. Back home, his hot spring discovery is a tourist magnet, bringing the village back to life. The group rests, looking back at their long journey. The crude spring is now a luxury bath. Months later, Ryoichi gears up for a new adventure. Tired of war, he's dodging noble drama to explore ancient ruins and the Northern Empire. While he's gone, the chief takes over as lord. The girls fight for his love, leaving him totally confused. Overwhelmed, Ryoichi wonders what they see in him. Surrounded by everyone he's helped, they answer as one, "Your kindness." Their words echo as his carriage departs toward the horizon and his next chapter.